Check how to use that other,
I guess we're on the air
we
from
are
Blanchester, Ohio. Yeah.
Oh, big day here at Blanchester with all the action. Got a lot of wrestling action in the second day of the sectionals. Time for our Star Spangled Banner.
All right.
We're ready for some wrestling action here today, Rick Phillips.
I think so. Okay. And we've got Chuck with us.
I think the level of competition today will certainly go up a notch or two, Chuck.
That's right. It's going to pick up, Lee. Like we mentioned last night, if you joined us, wrestlers at this point are wrestling for their season. Lost in the consolation round today, and they are done. Their season is over. So East Clinton's going to have a wrestler here in their first match coming up here. Thomas Floria at 113 pounds is going to be wrestling Jacob Petrie of Bethel Tate. Petrie is a freshman with a 2-15 record. Thomas got a late start to the season, and don't have his career. Yes, I do. He is 3-4 coming into the tournament. So again, with a limited number of matches this year.
What are the team scores?
Coming into today's action, Blanchester leads the tournament with 88 team points. Reading is second with 79.5. Claremont Northeastern in third, 48.5 points. North College Hill in fourth with 33 points. Deer Park in fifth with 32 points. Our own East Clinton Astros are tied for sixth place with 30 points with Williamsburg. So we'll give you the rest of the standings throughout the day if we get a chance. Again, Floria warming up right now on mat 1, ready to start. And Petrie puts on his ankle band, heads to the center, and the referee walks out. We're about ready to get going here.
By the way, our other colleague, Coach Hrabak, is not here yet. Had a little problem getting out of the snow, so we're filling in until he gets here. But we got action rolling. There he is.
Oh, he finally arrives, huh?
It is,
he must not be driving the Explorer.
That's right.
I would guess not. He and his lovely wife, Carolyn, have just made it here.
So we're underway here. Both wrestlers, the front headlock, back down their knees now. Floria reaching for the ankle. Trying to turn around, turn that into 2. Grabs the ankle, Petrie gets it free. Again, both wrestlers just spinning at this point. Floria the front headlock, now he's got the leg. And again, see if he can spin this around and turn it into 2. Thomas working to turn the corner, he's about halfway around the hip. Petrie goes to his hip, now back to his belly. Floria around behind, still not too ordered. And we've got a stop in the action. Looks like a potentially dangerous. Probably Petrie's leg or ankle was caught in an awkward position, so we get a restart here. Both wrestlers on the line, and now we're back at it. Collar tie, Petrie with a half shot. Floria back with a front headlock. Both wrestlers on their knees. And both wrestlers circling. Floria now grabs the leg, back off of it. Remains on the front headlock. And we've got a stop in the action. So that's the end of the first period. one difference in the consolation rounds, Lee, you'll notice that the first period will be 1 minute.
Yeah.
In the consolation rounds, it'll be 1 minute, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. So
and this is definitely not the time to hold anything back.
That's
you gotta
right.
let it all go every match, because if you lose, you're done.
that's right. And we're going to stick with Floria, but just to give our listeners a heads up here, Noah Morgan is starting on mat 3. So one problem you have sometimes in these tournaments, you'll get two wrestlers wrestling at the same time. We'll try to keep you apprised of both matches. So again, Floria now in control. He started in the up position, trying to work for a turn here. And he's got him turned. There's back points counting. And Floria again has his opponent in near fall. Let's see if he can put it away here. And Petrie bridging on his back, but again, Floria with good chest pressure. He's got him locked up. And again, he's already got his 3 back points. So all that's left now is a pin. And again, Petrie continues to bridge, tries to get his hips up. Floria readjusts, and now it looks like he may have him.
I think he's got him. He had his
Well,
shoulders
nice,
looked like.
yeah, I thought so too, but a
It
nice
looked
bridge
very
by
close.
Petrie. It certainly was, Lee, no doubt. Now the 3 back points awarded, so 3-0 Floria.
Yeah.
Again, Floria back working the half now. Now Thomas squares up on him. And looking for that. Now he's got the half in on the right side. Back to the left. Again, staying in the middle. Now he comes off to the left side. And it looks like he's going to run it from that side. Again, half in on the left. Petrie comes with his knees momentarily, but Floria knocks him back flat. Now he's got him turning. See if he can finish. He threads the right arm through.
Just
Loses the
trying to
half,
get him
though.
rolled over.
And he did right there. He locks up the head and arm on the
really
mat.
Close now.
Yeah,
Another
real
near
close. He's in near
pinfall
fall
there.
criteria. And again,
Give
back
the,
on
give the
his back.
competitor a little credit. He's fighting hard.
He is. There's no doubt about it. And he makes it out of the period. There's 3 more points awarded. So Floria should be up, I believe, 6-0. We're in an angle where we can't see that scoreboard, but I believe it's 6-0.
2 very close near pins there.
Yes, that's right. He had him on his back quite a bit there in that period. Right now we've got Noah Morgan down 5-0. 1 minute gone into the second period on mat 3. So back to the action on mat 1. Floria again on top, breaks him down again, flat. Petrie back up to his base. Now Thomas gets him flat again. Again, trying to run that half on the left side. Forces the head down with the right hand. Puts in the half. Continues the circle. Petrie, now Thomas puts the half in on the right side. Jumps sides. Starts to run it there. Petrie up into a base on his knees, now to his hip. Floria needs to get him back flat when we go out of bounds. So while they reset here, it looks like we had a, not sure, against us. We got pinned. Yeah, so Noah Morgan gets pinned on mat 3. So that'll be an end of the season for Noah, but again, a bright future for that freshman young man. So back to the action on 3. Again, Floria still in control on top here.
And he's been in control.
Yeah, basically the whole match. That's right. That's right.
In control.
And so Petrie momentarily back to a base, but Floria breaks him back down. So now Floria trying to, it looks like, get a half in on the left side. Forces the head down with the right. And now, again, Floria trying to run that half.
And guess who's here, Chuck?
That's right, joined by our colleague.
Just call me the Eskimo.
Eskimo. Welcome,
huh?
Coach.
Okay.
Hey, how you doing?
We've got a great match going on down here at the far end of the court.
Thomas Floria wrestling right now on mat 1. Noah Morgan just wrestled on mat 3 and was pinned. So
Yeah, Noah didn't. Noah had some chances there. He didn't take opportunities to take him down, and second period did not work out well for him.
right. So we just had a stalemate on mat 1. So we're going to get a restart here. Again, Petrie from Blanchester is still going to be in the down position.
You see Thomas is ahead 6-0 here.
Yep. So there's the restart again. Thomas breaks him down flat. Again, looking for that half. He's had a lot of success within this match. Let's see if he can finally put him away. Again, forcing the head down to the mat with the left hand, trying to run the half on the right side. Now he switches off, forces the head with the right hand, and runs the half on the left. And there's a stop in the action. Looks like that's the end of the match. So Thomas Floria picks up a nice win there in the second consolation round, our first round today.
And he really controlled the whole match. He was riding his opponent and had control the whole time.
Start to finish there, that was a nice, Thomas hasn't wrestled here due to some problems in the beginning of the season that didn't allow him to participate, and now he's back, and just takes a while to get your legs back and you get that rust off of you.
That's right, you have to knock it off for sure.
Yeah. We kind of saw a little bit of that with Thomas Wright yesterday. Thomas had only wrestled his third match of the season, and Thomas Floria is about the same boat there. He's only got about a handful of matches.
That's right. But again, making it count when it counts.
And that's
here at the end of the season.
Yeah, because now he is in a one and out situation, so needs to try to get back into that for third and fourth and then advance to the districts.
Exactly.
We will be, 126. We will not have anyone there, but then Thomas Wright will be wrestling Ward of North College Hill.
But not this round, Coach. That'll be the next consolation
the next
round.
consolation
right.
round. Okay. I still have snow blindness here, Chuck. So
that's understandable. From the way I read it right now, it looks like East Clinton won't have another wrestler until 195. Nate Morgan will be wrestling Charlie Brewer from Laughlin. Brewer's a senior with a 7-13 record coming into the tournament.
Okay. So Nate will be our next contestant.
Right, and then Peyton Vest will follow him at 220. Peyton has Stephen Black from Deer Park. And let's see, Black's record. He's a junior and he's 5-20 on the season. So,
well,
very similar record to Peyton. So
an
let's
opportunity
see if,
knocks on the door there for Peyton.
That's exactly right.
I did talk to Peyton's dad last night on the way out, and he will be up here to talk to us a little bit about the big wrestling program. Of course, he is the defending burger champion at Charlie's Place.
Oh yeah, Big Jim will be here.
And
we do want to mention our sponsors today, and I'm going to have to bail out and go back to see the tax man. This is my fun day for the tax.
No.
But I want to say big thank you to Charlie's Place in Sabina, the home of the East Clinton Sports Show, the home of the Astro Burger,
Most
pizza, and so much more. You guys know all about that. MC Auto in Sabina and Melvin Liquid Fertilizer, and our friends that are soon to be hopefully partnering with us, Rent-Own in Wilmington. So have a great day, guys.
Well, Lee, thank you, and enjoy that time with the IRS.
Oh, it's so lovely.
Now, what proctologist do you see for that?
The first one on the right when you go in the front door.
Okay.
All right. Well,
thanks, Lee.
Enjoy everything here.
That's right.
Okay.
Good luck, Lee.
Yeah, good luck with that, and hopefully we'll see Lee again after he survives this.
That's right. I don't think they'll take him straight to jail. So
there is due process, so remember that.
that's right.
So anyhow, small amount of levity there interjected with the broadcast, and you got to keep Lee honest.
That's right. The federal government's going to do their best to do that. So we'll see how that turns out for everyone.
Yeah. Hey, I'll put a file on the cake. So don't bite too hard on it.
See you guys.
See you.
That's right. So again, just to recap, we're currently in the first consolation round of today, which is actually the second consolation round overall. And again, following this, I believe we'll go straight into the championship semifinals, and then we'll see. Again, those wrestlers will wrestle to go to determine who wrestles for first and second, third and fourth. And of course, the losers of those matches will then drop down into the consolation bracket and try to wrestle out for third and fourth or fifth and sixth.
Truly not where you want to end up, but
that's right. But again, top four do make it on to the next tournament, the district tournament, and the fifth place finisher is an alternate. So if a wrestler was not able to make weight or had an injury or couldn't wrestle for any myriad of reasons, then that alternate would be able to fill in that place. And there has been a few opportunities, Coach, where alternates have gone on to qualify for the state tournament and even place. So it's very rare, but again, it is possible. So.
Many years ago, Chuck, more than I care to count, a wrestler from Elyria Catholic, and up in the Northeast District when they still did what they used to do is they didn't have an equal amount of qualifiers from each district.
Right.
And the Northeast District qualified 5 at the time, and a young man from Elyria Catholic, as I said, slipped in 5th place and ended up being the state champion.
Wow.
So it can happen.
It certainly happens. That's right.
It can happen.
That's right. And of course, that was back in the old days when the Southwest District paid the price. We didn't get as many qualifiers,
right.
So
right.
That's now been leveled out. But we talked yesterday a little bit about the regional differences in wrestling, and that's one thing that that has been a real point of contention for some people in the state. That the northern part of the state, the Cleveland area, and really anything north of Columbus dominated wrestling in Ohio for years.
Right.
And in fact, when the state tournament started, it didn't even represent teams in southern Ohio. It only consisted of teams in the northern part.
Yeah.
We've come a long way in the Southwest District over the years.
Yeah. Well, you've seen, especially some of the parochial schools, not to condemn or praise by either means. Cincinnati Moeller has made huge strides in Division I.
Without a doubt.
Probably using Cleveland St. Ed's as their model
where
they want to take their program.
That's right.
It's good to aspire to be where St. Ed's has been.
That's right. And I think you've seen, too, a lot of Southwestern teams going to tournaments in the northern part of the state.
Right.
To get that experience. I know as a wrestler, I wrestled in the Dayton area, and our coach always talked to us about the difference in style when we go to northern tournaments, that, they're a lot more aggressive. But you have to be prepared for that. And again, that's a good way to get yourself ready for the state tournament later in the year.
And I think that's the thing when you get to state, the better rounded kids, who have went to national tournaments, who go to camps all over the country, are not quite as surprised when they see a different style, where some kid that really wrestles regionally his whole life is not really prepared sometimes for some of the stuff they see.
Right. And again, I think that's one thing that people that aren't familiar with wrestling probably don't really understand or know about, is the fact of all the wrestling that occurs outside of the school season, that there are tournaments virtually all year round. It's just a matter of going out and finding them. But, again, there are some wrestlers that, wrestle 12 months a year and never get off the mat. So that's becoming more and more common, too, as time goes by.
And for our fans out there are different varieties of wrestling. We call the style that you see in high school folk style.
Right.
But then when you get to the Olympics, you have what they call freestyle and Greco-Roman.
Right.
And a lot of the kids, especially the better wrestlers, they will compete in especially freestyle, but some of them even now we see them getting some Greco experience in there, so that they're really ready for anything that they see.
That's exactly right. Each discipline, while it's all wrestling, they all have their own different little quirks and things. Again, like you talked about, Greco, Roman, and freestyle is what people would see if they watched the Summer Olympics. Again, it's quite a bit different as far as the scoring and everything from folk style, but again, there are a lot of things that carry over. Greco focuses mainly on throws, and again, a lot of times if you see a young man that's a good thrower, chances are he's had some Greco background.
Right. And then if you get the freestyle, we see a lot of the kids, which has become popular maybe in the last 15 years, is what we refer to as the tilt, where they just try to expose the shoulder blades to the back,
more about being in near fall position than about going for the pin.
Right.
Because that's ruled differently in freestyle.
Right.
And again, I would say to this point, freestyle still dominates most of the off-season wrestling. But again, there are more and more folk style tournaments every year.
It's becoming more popular.
For sure.
And unfortunately, the IOC had decided against eliminating wrestling from the Olympics.
Right.
As we will continue to see it as one of the two oldest sports in the Olympics, as the marathon and wrestling were the first two events.
That's right.
And try to interject a little history here with our broadcast. But we are, freestyle's interesting in the sense that my older son, when he was probably 7th or 8th grade, we went to a tournament up in Michigan.
Right.
And this particular wrestler got him in a gator roll and rolled him across the mat 4 times, and it was 4-0. And, and my son wasn't quite expecting that. So, those are the things that you have to find out before you get into it. But it made him a better wrestler because then he understood some of the aspects of that.
Exactly. So again, we're waiting for our next match at 195, and we're continuing to roll through the weight classes here, and I don't think we're going to have too much longer a wait.
Still seeing a number of pins here, Chuck, as we're still in the consolation, so kind of a weeding process where
that's right.
The less successful kids, if they don't come today ready to go, it'll be their last day.
That's right. Again, like we talked about, this round is a one-match season at this point.
Yep, exactly right.
Lose and you go home, win and you go on.
We see Nate Morgan has got his T-shirt off, so we're probably not too far away from Nate getting on the mat here.
Yeah, that's right. And again, the competitors are getting a little larger on the mat, so obviously we're moving up the weight classes. And again, like Coach said, it won't be long.
Peyton Vest is getting a little antsy down there himself as he gets ready to get on
the warm-up area. So again, won't be long for those two gentlemen.
And as we will see, so at this point, East Clinton has only lost 2 wrestlers. Charlie Erdman and Noah Morgan are the only 2 that cannot go on to districts next week.
But everyone else still alive at this point.
And that's what we hope to keep the kids going. The nice thing about Noah's a 9th grader.
That's right.
Has some experience through the youth program in 7th and 8th grade.
And Noah's one of those young men we've talked about that does do summer camps and wrestles in the summer. So, that experience is only going to help him as he carries through.
Right. And, the thing out there, there's so many options for these kids. One of the premier ones, we talked about it last night a little bit, was the Jordan camps.
Right.
They're throughout the state. A little bit pricey, but there are camps out there that are great bargains where Ohio State staff comes in, Penn State staff comes in.
Right.
You can get a week of wrestling and get exposed to some of the upper level moves and things that are going on a collegiate level.
Right. I know that Nate Morgan and Noah Morgan, the Morgan brothers, both attended the Ohio State camp with Coach Ryan at Ohio State last summer, so pretty sure they're looking forward to going back this summer as well.
And Coach Ryan, he's done a fantastic job with the Buckeyes. We talked about last night how Ohio produces so many great wrestlers,
right?
And yet so few of them were going to Ohio State before he got there.
Exactly.
And he's been able to keep the talent at home, and he's done a little cherry picking outside the borders too. He's been able to pick up a couple good kids, and if you're going to be a national program, much like we see with Urban Meyer in the football program, you do have to be a national recruiter if you're going to be successful.
That's right. But again, you want to win your state first and then go from there. And again, with Coach Tom Ryan, we're beginning to see that. Of course, Tom Ryan comes out of that great Iowa tradition. He was a wrestler, a national champion at the University of Iowa for Coach Dan Gable.
Right.
And continues to bring some of that intensity to Ohio State. One thing about Ohio State's program, I do hear that there is a new facility in the works at Ohio State, a new 6-mat facility that will be available for international competitions and training, and so hopefully that comes to pass and just continues to bring Ohio State wrestling into that upper echelon of programs around the country.
I think what the plan is what I've been reading about, is that there is a move afoot to get rid of St. John's Arena, where the Buckeyes normally hold their wrestling matches.
Right.
I'm kind of mixed on that, Chuck.
I would hate to see it go. I've seen some great things there. When I was a high school student, our girls basketball team played in the state Final Four there 2 years in a row, and that was an enjoyable experience getting to go. I remember going to the Big Ten Wrestling Championships there with my high school wrestling coach when I was in school, and a lot of great memories built there, not just for me, but for a lot of different people.
And
be ashamed to see it go.
Jerry Lucas and John Havlicek and all the
Brads,
the great players that played for Fred Taylor and the Buckeyes during those years. A lot of those memories would go to the wayside. I believe there is an effort by some National Historical Society to get that declared a state landmark, and which would protect it from being torn down.
Right.
But the other part of it is that's where the new wrestling facility / gymnastic building supposedly comes into play, where it would seat about 6,000 people,
right,
and it would be specifically for those sports.
Exactly. And again, at this point, honestly, St. John has been relegated to mostly that anyway. I believe the only varsity sports to compete there now are wrestling, gymnastics, and I believe volleyball, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and believe it or not, it still is viable for basketball.
Yeah, they have played games there in the past when they've had scheduling conflicts with the Value City Arena.
Right, and so, the Buckeyes do suit up and go in there. I had the great pleasure of going to see them play in the NIT a few years ago when there was a scheduling snafu, and the Buckeyes were in the NIT and happened to play California, and they had to use St. John's, and we got a couple nosebleed seats right up on the top of that. And, but what a great experience to get back in St. John's and watch basketball being played there. But as part of it is, when kids are paying $40,000 a year, if not more, to go to school, it's all about selling facilities for the kids. And
well, that's exactly right. Again, a 17, 18-year-old recruit probably won't have an appreciation for the history of St. John's Arena as much as they would for a brand new training facility.
Right.
So, and again, like we talked about too, that's going to draw in potentially international competitions and bring a lot of revenue to Columbus outside of just the university. So could be a win-win for a lot of people involved.
And Columbus has done a great. And then we've got Nate Morgan coming up. We're back to action here.
Yep, Nate Morgan reporting to the table right now. And again, Nate Morgan wrestling Kermit Beckworth of Bethel Tate. Beckworth of Bethel Tate. And again, Kermit has an 11-15 record on the year. He's a junior.
And Nate, the thing is here for Nate is, again, it's one match season. Bethel Tate has a pretty good program, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, they do. Again, East Clinton used to wrestle them as part of the SBC schedule. And, of course, when East Clinton went to the SCOL, we hadn't seen them in a couple years. But
one of the better teams in the SBC.
Yes, they are. And again, this year they moved down to Division III, where they have been in Division II. So now they're a welcome addition to this sectional, and certainly up the competition level. So here we go. We're starting off. Both wrestlers quick tie here, very common in the upper weights. Again, ear to ear, looking for a snap. Really nothing going on. Now he snaps Nate down into a front headlock.
And Nate's got to get out of that, Chuck.
Yep, both wrestlers on their knees, but Beckworth with a front headlock. Now he's got the leg.
He's looking for and he gets
and he
around.
breaks him down, spins around, gets a quick two.
Nate's got to fight up here.
Yes, he does. Again, Beckworth half on the left side, power half, turns Morgan over.
There's a
back points being counted.
Power half with emphasis, and Nate's in big trouble here.
And there's a fall. So, unfortunately for Nate Morgan, that's going to end his season. But again, Nate, only a sophomore, he's got a lot of wrestling ahead of him.
36 seconds of the first round. Beckworth looked more than up to the challenge there to move on to the next round.
Yep, for sure. And so he's going to be followed immediately on the same mat by Peyton Vest at 220 pounds. And again, Vest is wrestling Black of Deer Park. Again, Vest is a sophomore, 5-25 on the year. Black is a junior with a 5-20 record. So pretty evenly matched up as far as records go. We'll see what shakes out here on the mat.
Well, for Peyton, I would definitely say the second half of the season has been a lot more successful for him.
Yes, it has.
He got his first victory in the second half of the season. We were there to witness that.
Right.
And it's brought a lot of confidence to Peyton's game.
That's right. And one thing, too, Peyton, we've talked about it before, but basically he, for the good of the team, he bumped up and wrestled 285 a lot of the season.
Right.
Back when we had a different wrestler at 220. But again, so Peyton was giving away quite a bit of weight for most of the season. And now that he's been able to get back down to the 220 class, he's been a little more evenly matched.
Well, he's the ounce of 220.
Yeah, he is that.
He was running a little bit yesterday to get at that 220 mark.
So again, now that both wrestlers report to the center, now, Peyton in the scarlet EC singlet, Deer Park in a white singlet. And here we go. So, again, quick tie-up, collar tie, both men.
Peyton's got to get those elbows inside, Chuck.
Yeah, he's hanging out a little too far outside. And continue to, both wrestlers pushing back and forth, pushing, pulling. Peyton reaches for the left leg, not really taking a shot, just making his opponent think a little bit.
Yeah, both of them are kind of feeling each other and shoving.
Again, kind of looking for, who's going to push back and maybe try to use their leverage, but
looking for an opening.
That's right. So they break. Peyton reaches for the leg, didn't really take a shot, but just kind of seeing what's there.
Peyton again.
Back down again. Now Black turns into a front headlock. Peyton pummels out. Back to a collar tie.
Black's really made no effort on any leg attack here.
No, that's right. Peyton has been the aggressor so far. Now Black with an underhook, trying to
Peyton's got to get out of that.
By, and Peyton's got to pummel out of that, and looks like he went.
Good job by Peyton.
Peyton fighting that off.
Got that arm, and
And no, time expires. Looks like, geez, Coach, I don't know what to call that. Both wrestlers pushed into each other and kind of went down, and no takedown awarded.
Peyton had a semi-attempt at a head and arm, but he just
kind of slid off the front, and it really wasn't that great of a finish. So Peyton chooses neutral here. Again, not a bad choice considering the fact that Black really hasn't threatened him much on his feet.
And Peyton, he has had a couple leg attacks where if he gets his...
Yeah, and there's a slide by Black, but Peyton does a nice job fighting it, catches the arm, and Black's finally able to spin around for two. So now 2-0 Black, just the start of the second period here. Peyton works up into a base now on his feet.
Good job by Peyton. He can get his one here, get out.
And he's got hands free. Let's see if he
get his hips
separation.
Lower. There we go.
There's the escape. So we're 2-1 now. Both wrestlers in the neutral position on their feet. Back to a collar tie.
And if for our listeners out there, the reason we talk about having the elbows in is it protects your legs and your midsection from an attack by your opponent.
That's right. And two, it also protects you from your opponent getting to the side and getting that angle. Because again, especially in these upper weight classes, opponents usually aren't going to take a lot of shots underneath. They want to try to get to the side.
Peyton's got a single. He picks
it
up, Chuck.
Peyton's on the side.
He drives into it.
Got the angle.
Got to get off his knees, though.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Got to pick that up. Got to pick that up, Peyton.
And it looks like Black does a nice job sprawling and spins and turns it into his own takedown. So we're now at 4-1. Peyton's got the arm locked there, looking to roll.
Try to roll there.
And it's not there. Black too far in front. Peyton with an easy stand-up. So now we're at 4-2. We're back on our feet. Peyton gets right after him.
Peyton's a takedown away from tying this match up.
Yes, he is.
They're both hanging on the head right now, and Peyton has had some
that
success.
leg again.
Trying what we would refer to as a knee pick, but he's not going all the way through with it.
That's right. Again, just kind of almost just slapping at the knee, and this time he tries to the finish.
If he can stand up with it.
But he's got the leg.
He's got it.
And Black's able to break him down again and spin around for another two. So, unfortunately, two of Black's three takedowns have come off Peyton's attempts at shots. But again, I'd like to see Peyton be aggressive. He's going to finish one of those, I think, here coming up.
Yeah, and you can't be critical when you have your wrestler taking shots and putting himself in a scoring situation like Peyton's been doing.
I'd rather see that than just be totally defensive. So,
very true.
That's the end of the second period. Looks like we're going to start the third period with Black. Black chooses down. So Black gets on the line, getting set.
Black's ahead here 4-2, so he's looking to try to extend that out to 7-2 if he can get escape.
There's a start. Black down to his hip early, but now down flat on the mat. Peyton looking for a power half here.
Peyton's trying to use some leverage, use his weight to his advantage there, which right now appears to be a decent strategy on his behalf.
Yeah, that's right. So now he's got the half in on the right side, not very deep, just to the ear. And arm comes out. Now he's, again, going for the power half on the right side, pushing the head down with the left hand.
If he could use that arm bar, that Black is throwing those elbows up there.
Black is giving him the arm bar if he wants it. Peyton keeps working the half. Stalling Green on the bottom, so Black's got to make some kind of motion here to try to get away, and he's really not.
Could make things interesting here, Chuck. If Peyton can turn them and there's penalty points involved, this could be an interesting finish.
That's exactly right, especially going into the third period here. So
Black is
just
up.
Balled up. That's right. He's making very little attempt at all to score here or get away.
He's got to his base. Peyton
breaks him down flat. Peyton staying off to the side. Now he's
working the back of the
center
neck.
on the back, right?
He's got the half. Got to get off to the side, though, when he runs that half.
Yep, again, Peyton's covering both hips right now. So now we get stalling on Peyton Vest, stalling on both men called now.
And Chuck, I know you got to call that, but really questionable about that. Peyton's doing all the work.
That's exactly right. Like we talked about, Black has made little to no effort to try to get up from the bottom. And Peyton, to his credit, is trying halves on both sides. Again, not riding just both hips all the time.
Just protecting a 4-point lead. And
that's exactly right. And again, hate to see Peyton if this match would end this way because, again, like we talked about, he's the one doing all the work.
Yeah, he's been the aggressor clearly. And again, you question what were the criteria or what the officials are judging a stalling on with that.
No, that's exactly right. And stalling, unfortunately, is one of those things that I'm sure there's a definition of it, but
and
but
it
again,
goes everywhere.
That's right. Yep. And so stalling now called on Black again, so that's going to be a penalty point for Peyton.
And we all went.
Peyton picked up the near leg, just about had him in near fall criteria, but Black smartly gets back flat. But again, Black still bottoming out, and that's going to do it. Unfortunately, time runs out, and Peyton Vest falls 6-3. That's going to be the end of Peyton's season, but boy, a great effort by Peyton there. Just unfortunately, Black was able to hold on for the win.
Gamely fought by Peyton. Early in the year, like you said, when he was at 285, he really had some mismatches that weren't to his advantage. And a nice job there by Peyton. 6-3. Nearly turned him with about 20 seconds to go.
Yeah, he really did. Bill, that's one of those situations where really I think if you didn't know the score, I'd say Peyton won that match.
Yes.
But unfortunately, given the takedowns that Black was able to get early, he was able to hold on for the win.
That's a nice starting point for Coach Stalin going into next year. I mean, there's not much you can say to a kid if you get pinned in 30 seconds. But this is something where Doug can build on that with Peyton for next year and say, hey, look, some good shots, almost turned the kid.
That's
you
right.
were the aggressor. Now, we need to get in the weight room, get ourselves stronger. Next year,
exactly.
You're going to have an opportunity to be pretty good.
And, for Peyton to wrestle 6 hard minutes like that, that's a great effort. And like you said, a great thing to build on going into next year.
Yeah, for a big kid, too. It's the big kids' conditioning is always an issue, and Peyton did not look tired through that whole time.
No, he really didn't. Like I said, he did a nice job wrestling the whole 6 minutes. So, all right, we're ready to begin. So we're getting to start the championship rounds here. Again,
and we will be going to our 106 pounders.
Right, and I guess actually they're going to run this concurrent, Coach, with the consolation round.
And Josh is one match from the championship here.
That's right, so Josh will be wrestling the number 1 seed, Seth Chambers from Claremont Northeastern. Seth is a junior with a 24-4 record coming into the tournament, and he was a 4th place finisher last year and qualified for the district tournament last season. So Josh will have his hands full here in his first match of the tournament.
Yeah, and when we look at the kids there, we see Chambers is an 11th grader and Josh is a 10th grader, and they're the oldest kids in the weight class, which is not unusual.
That's right, yeah. 106 is usually dominated by freshmen and sophomores. Again, just given the basic growth cycle of a lot of high school young men.
Yeah. Chambers is a tall, lanky kid. Josh is not quite as tall. Although they're
just as lanky,
they're just as lanky, just as lanky. They're built very similarly, and
that's right. So both wrestlers now in the center of the mat. Shake hands. There's a whistle, and we're underway. Again, simple collar tie, just feeling each other out. Both wrestlers circling. Snap down into a front headlock by Chambers, and it looks like Josh's headgear slipped off. So we're going to get a restart here. But again, Chambers aggressively came out right away and snapped that front headlock and see if he does it again.
Well, Josh got it. Well, nice fending there by Josh.
Yep. And again, just kind of pushing and pulling at this point. Now we're back to a collar tie.
Right.
Chambers looks for the snap down again.
Josh
now look for a high
drop. Get his hips down hard.
Good sprawl. Josh staying away, but
yeah.
Chambers, to his credit, keeps working, closes the distance, and gets the 2.
Nice belly out by Josh. He got to the mat. He realized the takedown was coming and didn't complicate things by getting back exposure.
And also, Coach, simultaneously, we've got Thomas Foyer wrestling on mat 3 as well. He is wrestling Austin Jeanette of Blanchester. Jeanette is a freshman with a 20-9 record on the year. So, again, consolation rounds and championship being wrestled simultaneously right now.
Yep, and I think what they do is they'll have 2 mats that'll be championship, and they'll have consolations on the 3rd mat.
So back to the action on mat 2.
Oh,
Josh goes down and did a sit-out, but only got as far as his hip. Chambers is able to suck him back with his chin, and now Josh is in trouble on his back. Chambers has already got 3 back points, looking to finish him off here. Again, Josh trying to get back to his belly and then build his base. Let's see if he can get through. Josh onto his hip now. Chambers has the left arm caught, puts his chin in Josh's shoulder, pulls him back to the mat. So, again, Josh is in trouble here, but Chambers not a lot of pressure. Now he readjusts. He's chest to chest. Josh bridging. Josh with a nice bridge, but again, Chambers now is going to do, Coach, the old surfboard there.
Yeah, I've got to figure 4 to legs like that. That's a lot of trouble.
Yeah, that's hard to get out of. You don't have any leverage there, but Chambers now basically right on top. Got a head and arm locked up and just squeezing Josh. Now he's got the legs, so Josh doesn't have any leverage to be able to base, and that's going to do it. So Chambers with the fall. Chambers will go on and wrestle for 1st and 2nd. Josh will drop down
To wrestle for 3rd.
and he will wrestle for 3rd and 4th.
And as we talked about, that's a big one, because if he does not win in the 3rd and 4th place match, he will draw number 1 in the district tournament.
That's right.
That can be a pretty precarious situation there.
So we go back now to mat 1 where Thomas Flory is wrestling, and sorry, I don't have a score at this point. Looks like we have a break in the action. I'm not sure what's happened. Looks like Floria
Well, Thomas is ahead. That much I can tell you. And he is wrestling Austin Jeanette from Blanchester. And from what we were peeking over there, he was having his way there. So it looked good for the Astros' efforts, and hopefully we can get a score here as we start this 2nd period. Did you see what the score is on Thomas's match?
And again, if Floria wins this match, he will advance into the semifinals. So he would need to win this match and one more to
give you a
qualify and wrestle for 3rd and 4th. So blood time is over. Back to the center of the mat. And we're going to be neutral. Referee signals neutral.
It's 12-1, Chuck, in favor of
12-1 Floria. Okay, good deal. So both wrestlers on their feet. Now they're both tied up. Shake free of that. Jeanette with a shot. Floria fights him off, but Jeanette's in deep.
He's got to kick that leg back.
Yes, he does, and he's able to do it. He gets his feet back.
He's got a front headlock, Chuck.
Let's see if he can finish this. So Jeanette now on his knees. Floria out in front with the front headlock. He's got the ankle. And it looks like he's got the takedown. Nice job by Floria to finish there for 2.
Kind of tried to Turk him right off of that, and that
yes, he did. And so Floria now with a half, lifting the near leg. And Jeanette, nice job. He just basically is able to stand up out of that and out of bounds. So Jeanette will be back down. Let's see if Floria can break him down here on the whistle.
This might be where you kick him out, 14-1.
Yeah, again, you're not in a lot of peril here points-wise. You're right. So that wouldn't be a bad decision. But they don't do that. Jeanette with a sit-out. But Floria able to bring him back to the mat. Jeanette back up on his base, though, doing a nice job getting back up. Floria off to the left hip.
Just doesn't want, when you're ahead like this, you don't want to do anything too extravagant.
That's right. And again, Jeanette now is to his feet. Floria is in trouble here. He's got it on. He's able to bring him back to the mat. Now, that's a situation where, if both wrestlers are on their feet very long, you're going to get a stalling call on the wrestler in control.
Well, there's going to be a clasping call on Floria.
Yeah, we got locking hands on Floria there. So Jeanette is going to get one more point there, but it's still 14-2.
This is
probably under a minute to go in the 3rd period, Coach.
I would agree. I'd agree. And this is what we talked about. We have.
It must have been a multiple penalty situation, Coach, because
we had a change.
Jeanette chose to put Floria down.
Right.
And again, like we talked about, I'm not sure about that decision, but Floria is able to stand up. And
I'm not sure about that either, Chuck.
So now we're at 15-2, I believe. Floria front headlock. He's going to turn this into a takedown.
If you get the head and the ribs.
I believe this will be a tech, Coach. Are we at 17-2?
17-2.
So
And if that's the case, then Thomas is going to, well, this is going to be a tech here because he's going to get back exposure, it looks like.
Yeah, so it'll either be a tech or a pin at this point, I believe. Again, Jeanette, to his credit, fighting it off, though. He doesn't want to give it up.
Well, those Blanchester kids are pretty tough.
Yes, they are.
Well, guys, our runner gave us the wrong score. It was not 12-1. It is now 5-2.
Well, then that dramatically changes everything about
yes,
our coverage,
very much.
Coach. So, readjusting here. We're back out of bounds. Foya
as we
gives up an escape.
We are not technological giants yet, so.
I'm guessing we're at 3-5.
5-3,
all right,
Thomas
so,
Floria.
Both wrestlers on their knees. Floria with a front headlock. Kind of out in front now. They're back on their feet.
Thomas got to be careful.
Up.
He's looking look like he's coasting here a little bit, Chuck.
Yeah, that's right. And only up by 2 in this situation. Certainly not the time to put the brakes on.
No, not at all. He could get that head now. Looks like if he can get around here.
And I think he's going to have another takedown here, Coach. He's got the leg.
He can definitely secure this match.
Steps over, and there's the 2.
Oh,
so
he didn't hold.
He just lets him up. But again, now Floria up by 3, excuse me, now with the escape. So
7-4 and
7-4, so 3-point lead.
And Thomas just has to. Now he got called for stalling now too.
I believe that's on Green, Coach. Oh no, it was on him, wasn't it? Yeah, okay, so.
And
but again,
Thomas,
Floria with another takedown here. So again, Thomas with some nice takedowns. Jeanette back on his feet.
And both wrestlers look about dead tired.
Yeah, they really do, and
they're just
that's going to be the match. So Floria comes away with the win there.
And that's a nice. Looking at this, Jeanette was 20-9, a ninth grader. So that's a quality win for Thomas.
It certainly is, and I'll tell you, that's right. Jeanette got a bright future ahead of him. Nice freshman record there.
And hopefully we'll be we move another Astro into the finals. And
that's right.
Thomas Wright will be coming up next for us.
That's right. Thomas has Adrian Ward of North College Hill. Ward is a freshman as well. Ward has a 15-11 record. And again, Thomas's record coming into the tournament only 2-0, but again, Thomas was extremely limited this season. Had an injury that kept him out, I'd say 99% of the season. But again, now he's finally back here at the end of the season and making a good run here at the end of the year.
And we've got a couple things that pay our bills here, as Lee is dealing with his income tax people right now. Our broadcast is brought here today by MC Auto, located on 11 East Washington Street in Sabina, Ohio, 45169. The hours over at MC Auto are Monday through Saturday, 9 to 6. They have guaranteed financing, and we were fortunate enough, Chuck, to win an automobile in a drawing from MC. It's a beautiful Ford Explorer, and we're excited about it. And so if you get a chance, stop out to MC and take a look at what they've got there.
That's right. They always have a lot of nice cars on display, located right in the heart of Sabina.
Our next sponsor is Charlie's Place, 416 East Washington Street. The hours for Charlie's, if you want to stop in and grab something to eat, are Monday through Thursday, 10 to 9, Friday and Saturday, 10 to 10. On Thursdays, we have the East Clinton Sports Show there, hosted by Jeremy Yankee, and one of the East Clinton staff, and Lee, are normally there to hold the fort down. The special this week, they're offering a large one-topping pizza for $10.
And of course, Charlie's now offers the drive-through service as well, so call ahead, drive through, and pick it up. Don't even have to enter the building.
And again, Thursday nights, 7 p.m., we'll be there for the East Clinton Sports Talk Show, hosted by Jeremy Yankee. We're also brought here today by Melvin's Liquid Fertilizer. Melvin Liquid Fertilizer is at 6704 East US 22, Wilmington, Ohio. Phone number 937-584-2451. And what do they do, Chuck, as far as providing services to our community?
Well, Melvin provides a lot of different services for farmers in the area. They have custom agriculture applications of both liquid and dry fertilizers, custom chemical applications for agricultural purposes. They'll sample your soil, help in your crop planting, as well as sell seeds. So again, get the Melvin Liquid Fertilizer, located in the beautiful village of Melvin, Ohio, located between Sabina and Wilmington. They're on US 22.
And you know, Chuck, pretty soon hopefully this snow will disappear and we'll see the grass, and we're going to need fertilizer out on that stuff. So
that's right.
Call Paul Harris at 937-584-2451 for your agricultural crop needs. And that is Melvin Liquid Fertilizers. And that takes us back to a little wrestling action here.
That's right. Our next wrestler will be Thomas Wright, again at 132. And Thomas will be wrestling Adrian Ward of North College Hill.
Thomas has a 2-1 record. His last match that he wrestled, Chuck, he wrestled very competitively against Danny Constantini from Madera.
That's
and
right.
Put together really a nice match. If it finished in a couple places, Thomas would be wrestling the semifinals right now.
That's exactly right. And Constantini came in as the 5th seed, and like you mentioned last night, I don't think Constantini would want to wrestle Thomas again.
No. Constantini was his experience and probably the fact that he had been wrestling all season, had some nice reversals on Thomas, but Thomas was up to the task, especially towards the end of the match, and made it real interesting.
Yes, he
was. So we will be, we are moving through the 120s and 126 matches as we approach Thomas in the 132 weight class. 138, we suffered one of our casualties. Noah Morgan lost his last consolation match, and so we will jump to 145 then. Cameron Block will be coming up and wrestling. Cameron had a nice match. Unfortunately, the young man he was wrestling, Joshua Campbell, suffered some kind of shoulder injury.
Right.
But I think that watching that match, I don't think that outcome was in doubt. I think Cameron was on his way to victory.
I agree with you. He's going to have Connor Craig from Reading. Connor Craig is only a freshman, but he is the number 1 seed in the weight class, and 24-13 record, and he beat Wyatt O'Neal in his first round match by a tech fall 16-0. I'm sorry, he pinned his first opponent and tech falled his second opponent, so it should be quite a matchup for Block.
And the thing that I've noticed with Reading is a lot of their kids are 9th and 10th graders.
They've got a very young lineup and a lot of successful young wrestlers. So,
so they're going to be a program we're going to see for a number of years here.
That's right.
152, we had suffered. Charlie Erdman got knocked out last night. Kudos to Chuck. Keep your head up, Chuck. Get in the weight room, and you're going to continue to improve next year to 12 victories. Great improvement over the year before. So we're looking forward to Chuck getting back in there.
Certainly are.
Then at 160, we have Zach Hrabak and the top seed, Ray Day, also from Reading. He's a senior at 30-6. Zach comes in at 19-2. And
Ray is the returning sectional champion here at Blanchester. Did not qualify for the state tournament last year, though, so I'm sure he's going to be looking to do that this year.
Yeah, especially being a senior. That's the thing for seniors. It's even more final than a kid that's a 9th, 10th, or 11th grader.
That's exactly right.
This is the last time they take the mat unless they're fortunate enough to go to college.
And, I think we mentioned in one of our earlier broadcasts, the opportunities to wrestle in college are, not very great, and unfortunately getting reduced a lot of the time. Seems like every year I hear about a different college or university cutting their wrestling program.
Yeah. Now, on a bright note, a number of the MAC programs, I believe Bowling Green and Toledo, are going to bring wrestling back.
That's right. They had eliminated and are bringing it back. That's right. So that's exactly right. So hopefully we'll see that continue throughout Ohio. But again, Ohio does have a number of good quality smaller wrestling programs. Lake Erie College up in the Cleveland area comes to mind. Notre Dame College as well in that area. Both have good, strong wrestling programs.
And I believe
Mount St. Joe in Cincinnati, Ashland up north.
And I think Ashland maybe 2 years ago won the Division II national championship.
Oh, really? I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah. They had a great young coach there who did a super job recruiting and brought a national championship.
And, of course, one of the recruits was a local state champion from Clinton, Massey.
Right.
Corby Running, who has transferred now, I believe, to Mankato State, Minnesota, but he wrestled at Ashland for a few seasons as well. So.
Right. So, there are some opportunities, some smaller ones. Of course, we have Division III wrestling. John Carroll's always been renowned as one of the big Division III programs.
Right.
Mount Union has Division III wrestling, Ohio Northern. So there are some opportunities, but it's nice when they pay for a little bit of it. And
that's right.
Division III, unfortunately, unless you're hitting the books real hard, you're not going to get much of that academic.
Yeah, not a lot of athletic money there. That's right.
Right.
And, but again, focus more on academics.
Right.
As it should be with the student athletes.
Yeah, they're going there hoping to go on to what their real profession is going to be. And as we talked about, although it's a little different nowadays with wrestling, with the UFC's emergence, which seems to have a predominance of college wrestlers.
Yes, it does.
Moving over there. Right. And if you're not a fan of the UFC, one thing there is it's a combination of, well, they call it mixed martial arts.
Right.
So you have jiu-jitsu, judo, wrestling.
A lot of different disciplines, a lot of different styles.
Right, and the wrestlers, since they have a lot of experience in what we call ground and pound, once they get the guys down on the mat, it's really an advantage, that wrestling experience that they've had. And we've got a good one going here on mat 2, and
a couple quality opponents. You got Alvarez from Cincinnati Hills, or Alvarado, from Cincinnati Hills Christian Academy, and he's a tough wrestler. He's wrestling Bryson Gott from C&E, who's a senior, but again, Alvarado, a tough wrestler, familiar face to East Clinton fans if you attend a lot of the tournaments in the past. And Alvarado looking to return to the state tournament this year. So one of the real top quality wrestlers here today at Blanchester.
Yeah. And we have a number of state qualifiers here today that are trying to get back to districts and get through that process of getting back to state.
Right.
Again, it's amazing, Chuck, when you watch these guys, the ones that have been at state, the moxie they have and the confidence is obvious when they walk onto the mat.
It's palpable, isn't it? Yeah, you can really feel it. And that, like a lot of different sports, that definitely plays a role. If you think you can win and you think you're better than your opponent, sometimes your opponent might feel that same way.
Sure.
Given your composure
and that's what makes wrestling unique, I think, compared to other sports with the approach that the athletes take to it. It's a little bit different than our team sports.
Sure.
At least football and basketball and baseball are drastically different in that sense.
That's right.
To wrestling.
That's right. There's no one else to blame and no one else to congratulate when you win a wrestling or lose a wrestling match.
Yeah, I'd say, and for parents, you have to take your hat off to them. They go through a lot of long weekends watching their young warriors come up through the wrestling ranks.
Yes, they do, and I can tell you that my parents absolutely hated to come to wrestling events because of the time, but mostly because they didn't like watching me wrestle. They were always scared that I was going to get hurt, But again, it takes a special kind of parent to put up with this sport and all the ups and downs and the work that it takes both in the season and out of the season. It takes a great commitment from the whole family.
Well, to some degree. I guess we could compare it to what the wrestlers go through is the parents have to make a similar commitment when your kid wrestles.
That's exactly right. People not familiar with wrestling probably don't realize that, again, this tournament wrestling didn't start till 11 o'clock this morning, but these wrestlers typically have to be here very early in the morning to weigh in, and that means they have to leave their home schools, obviously, even earlier than that. So it makes for some long Saturdays during the winter and some late nights as well.
And in some tournaments, when they're 2 days, the kids may have to maintain their weight until the next day, so they've won a whole day trying to get down to their weight.
Exactly.
And don't want to eat that night because they have to weigh in the next morning.
Exactly.
And it's tempting when you walk in and you see the banana sitting on the counter at home, and you really want to eat that banana, Chuck.
You've got to walk on by.
Yeah. And we got Rick over here. How's things going today, Rick?
Things are going great. I just got a Go Astros from Lee, so Lee is still free. He's a free man.
Okay. So no ankle irons have been put on Lee yet. So,
not
yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
I think they have like a first-time offender program.
Oh, do they? So are we going to see him on the side of the road in an orange suit?
He'll be helping keep.
You two are assuming that it is the first time.
Well, that's true. Yeah, we didn't.
Well, that might not be legal evidence to introduce to this case, Chuck. So
I do know he has a home in the Caymans.
I'm sure NSA is curious about that. So
that's right.
But well, kudos out there to Lee. We wish you were here, Lee. We know you'd rather be here than there. So
yeah, just make sure you get all those correctly added. Now, I know he's a graduate of East Clinton, but he said they didn't have math back then.
Well, I think they used abacuses and stones.
Yeah, well, he said like they taught the 3 R's and math wasn't one of them. But I said, isn't that arithmetic?
Arithmetic minus the A. That's right.
Well, good luck out there, Lee. Do we have any idea, Rick, of this early morning of a count?
Well, let's
see. How many people broke radio silence this morning to see what's going on?
That's right.
Now we've got a pin going on Mat 1.
Yeah, again, a hometown Blanchester wrestler with a win there, and if you heard the roar of the crowd, that's what that was.
Blanchester's been pretty solid, but
yes, they are. Like we mentioned, they were in the league coming into today, and we don't have an updated team score, but I imagine they're probably still.
Sure.
Looks like about 129 so far.
Wow. So 129 hits already this morning in the first hour of the tournament, Chuck.
That's great.
Very good.
We thank you all for joining us.
And, technology can let us give instant results of what you guys are doing out there. Remember, you can text us. Can they text us?
Yeah, they can text us they can text to my cell phone. It's 937-527-6674. Just send you your text, no calls, and make sure that you let us know what you think of our broadcast.
And is the live chat available today as well, or
what's that?
Is the live chat available through the website today, or not?
Yeah, they can actually they can go on our chat room. The website's got a chat room that they can log into if they want to leave something right there on the website.
There you go. And again, we encourage you, if you have questions or anything you'd like for us to discuss, or things that you're curious about, feel free to put those in the chat room or send your text along. We'd be more than happy to address whatever we can on the air.
And we're trying to, as we're trying to build wrestling as a sport, it's important that you do send those questions in, maybe suggestions that would help us in the broadcast as we move into next season, so that we can bring better coverage to you.
Right, that's exactly right. So again, just an update where we are. We're waiting for Thomas Wright, 132. And again, he's in the 3rd round of consolation here. Again, simultaneously wrestling the semifinals, and we've got a few wrestlers still alive in the championship bracket. Cameron Block at 145, Zach Hrabak at 160. And Cameron Klein, right, at 182.
So we've got some viable Astros here, still looking to move on to districts next week up at Troy.
Right.
And we're at the 126-pound semifinals right now, with Thomas Wright coming up on Mat 1 immediately following this 126 semifinal. better crowd today, Chuck. A few more
Yeah,
people.
it is. I think the weather last night scared a few people away, and I'll be honest, if we weren't on the radio, I'm not sure I would have made the trek over here. It's took quite a while to get back to the East Clinton area last night, but again, hopefully everyone made it home safe and sound, and again, good crowd here today for sure.
It was definitely slow going, but if on a bright note, going home, I didn't see a lot of cars off into the ditch and things like that, so people were taking caution, and
That's right.
That's a great thing.
That's right. I did see the road crews out last night too, and they were doing a good job. And I have to say the driving this morning was I felt a lot safer than the drive home last night. Let me say that.
Yeah. This morning, Mother Nature was helping us out with a little sun, and salt was activated, and the roads were actually pretty clear coming in.
Yeah, they really were.
Except for my driveway, Chuck.
Yeah, we heard about that.
Which is a whole other story. But that's all taken care of now. So we're here watching wrestling at Blanchester High School in the Division III sectional tournament. Chuck Hale, Bill Hrabak, Rick Phillips bringing you the action as we move on towards a semifinal match at 132 with Thomas Wright coming up here in the very near future. The match on mat 1 right now, I'm going to say it's in the third period.
Yeah, they've been at it quite a while down there.
Yeah. And so we should have Thomas coming up here relatively soon. Thomas is to the right of where we're sitting, up on the mezzanine, looking down over the beautiful Blanchester gym. And Thomas is, if you've not been to a wrestling match, they have score tables set up of each of the tables, and the wrestlers stand behind those, which gives you an idea who's coming up next, as we've got Thomas kind of bouncing back there with Coach Mike Fritz and Doug Stalen and Mark Scovaner, and so they're going to be coming up here pretty soon.
Yep.
Actually,
it looks like we've got a result here in the mat 1, so could be very close. But actually, Coach, I think I see 2 more wrestlers in front of the table, so Thomas might be 1 match behind this one. We have 1 more to wait, it looks like.
Looks like he was not the on-deck wrestler. He was the
in the hole wrestler.
In the hole wrestler, stealing that term from baseball, as those who played for many years know. He's up the bat, on deck, and in the hole. And wrestling's very similar in the way that we use the terminology.
That's right.
So if we say that, you'll know what we're talking about.
Exactly.
Now, I'm not sure if that would be the 132, other 132 semi wrestling right in front of Thomas on that mat or not. But we'll try to get that information.
Looks like it, Coach. Looks like that is Riley Fawcett of Summit Country Day. And he's wrestling Kit Morgan of Cincinnati Country Day. So we've got Summit Country Day and Cincinnati Country Day. Battle of the day schools down there.
The day schools are battling here, and that's the other 132 semi. Correct, Chuck? That's the other 132 semifinal? Well, it's a consolation.
Yeah.
Okay. So they have, now they are wrestling some of the consolations on other mats also. So we will have to keep aware of what's going on. Now
let's just add, Bill, one change you see today, of course we're not on video, but in the championship rounds, they now have 2 officials on every mat. They want to get as many viewpoints and eyes on the action as they can. Again, you don't want to see a kid not be able to advance because of a missed call or being out of position and not seeing something. So they want to give every possible opportunity for those young men to get the best referee match they can.
Right, and we've seen that in all sports over the years. Basketball's added the 3rd official, and wrestling's added, or football rather, has added another official. So wrestling's no different. It's nice to have a guy on both sides of the mat, especially in pinning situations. We see too often when one official matches where the official's out of position when the kid goes down and potentially misses a pin-ending situation. or a match-ending situation with a pin. So that's why they went to 2, and I'm glad they did it.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Yeah, we've got one of the, Chuck was just pointing out some of our spectators. That is one of the interesting things about wrestling. If you're to watch a wrestling match, it's pretty easy to figure out who the parent of the wrestlers are.
A lot of times it is.
Jumping jacks or something over on the sidelines.
Yeah, there's a lot of emotion involved, not just for the wrestlers, but for their parents and other fans and supporters as well. The intensity of wrestling is really hard to explain if you haven't experienced it. But if you've ever been to a wrestling match, you probably have seen it in action.
Yeah, and it's a tough thing too. I take my hat off to my wife, who's filmed most of our kids' matches during the course of the year. When I do it, I've got pictures of the ceiling tiles and the lights because I'm jumping up and down, and she's got the steady hand when it comes to that. But it's hard for a wrestling fan to do that and watch at the same time.
Very true.
Now we have a pin on mat 3. We have a Madeira wrestler who
okay, so
trying to ascertain who that was, but
looks like Block's going to be up, Coach, here on mat 3.
And we've got Cameron Block coming up, so we're going to have double action here for the Astros. We will try our best to keep you up to date with both matches as they go on.
And again, Block is wrestling Connor Craig, who is the number 1 seed. He's a freshman out of Reading. Came into the tournament with a 24-13 record. So, real quality opponent here for Cameron. But, if you keep advancing, that's all you're going to get the rest of the way.
Right. Connor
Craig
Craig
have a chance to prove himself here.
Similar build to Cameron.
Yeah, both tall, lanky wrestlers.
Tack the legs.
Craig with a quick takedown.
And he's going
for the half right away.
He's wasting no time, Chuck.
No, he went right after it, that's for sure. Block, like we talked about in the past, is more of a funk style, more of I won't say a passive style, but he likes to feel his opponent out, and Craig gave him no chance to do that at all.
Yeah, and you see some kids, especially the higher the level, they will go turn that switch on as soon as the clock starts.
That's right, that's exactly what happened. Craig with a tight waist, now he's got the arm bar on the right side and trying for a tilt, trying to take Cameron right over the top of his head. Cameron rolls it through, doesn't let him have it, but again, still with the arm bar, circling, trying to walk towards Cameron's head.
Pretty good
Cameron
defense
circles
by
the opposite
Cameron.
direction, that is.
And we are
again, Craig trying to tilt him, looking for back points.
And we're doing best we can to see this.
That's
the
right.
mezzanine, mat 3 is right underneath
tilt, but
the mezzanine, and we can see a couple arms and feet right now. And then Connor's getting that. He's got an arm bar in, and he's just continually trying to tilt Cameron.
Yeah, to his credit, again, Craig has tried the same tilt 4 or 5 times, and Block continues to fight it off.
Yeah, and if Cameron can do that, he'd get through this period without much damage, but I think he's going to get points now, Chuck.
Yeah, well, have they counted it? I think he's definitely near fall criteria.
Yeah. Although there's not, realistically, Cameron is what we call bridging. And
yeah, he's not really in danger of getting pinned. You're right, Coach. I think is what you're saying. But again, definitely. And he readjusts, and there is the fall. So
I think what Connor did there is he put the leg across the throat and really made it difficult for Cameron to continue to bridge.
Yes, he did. That's right. And again, like we said, if he took away his ability to bridge, those shoulders are going to go flat.
Yep.
So that'll drop Block down into the consolation semifinals. So Cameron's still with a good chance to make it out. He has to win one more match, and he's guaranteed to go to districts. So
and
hopefully he can pull that out.
And if he gets, in the event he loses, he would wrestle for 5th and 6th still.
That's right. Like we mentioned, that's still a chance to make it as an alternate.
Right. So we're hoping there that that doesn't have to be the avenue he takes, is that he will follow the path to getting into the third and fourth place match and then winning there and going in as a third seed.
So again, we're still waiting for Thomas Wright and his quarterfinal consolation match at 132. And it looks like the match on mat 3 just ended, so he will be up next.
Well, that's the $50,000 question. Oh, I guess $50,000 isn't much anymore, Chuck, so now they have to...
Speak for yourself, Bill. I'd take it.
It's kind of like winning the lottery, you know. It used to be winning $1 million was an exciting thing. Now it's $750 million.
That's right. But again, I reiterate my previous point, I'd take the million just as well.
Hey, I'd take a $10 winning ticket if I could get it. And it looks like, Thomas will be up on mat 1.
Yeah, but again, like we mentioned earlier, Thomas wrestling Adrian Ward from North College Hill. And again, Ward, another freshman, does have a winning record on the year, but again, Thomas does too. Just a very limited number of matches for Thomas because of the late start due to an injury. But both wrestlers now on the line. There's the whistle, and we're underway. So
yeah, we've seen North College Hill several times.
Yeah,
this
East
year.
Clinton sees them quite a bit throughout the season. I know Coach Stalen is pretty good friends with their coach, and they try to work together as much as they can to get as many matches for these young men as they can. So
we've had several opportunities to wrestle them. So
Thomas with a front headlock, but Ford able to hold on and turns it into his own takedown. Thomas slips to his back.
Just didn't control it, Chuck.
No, he didn't. That's right. And he rolled through. So 2 quick back points there for Ward, and it's now 4-0. So Thomas we start over in the middle. Thomas down the referee's position. There's the whistle. Ward grabs the ankle, drives him forward. Thomas now flat on his stomach.
Not a lot of action at this point.
Not so far. And Ward going for wrist control. He has Thomas's left wrist. Thomas stands to his feet, and Ward drives him out of bounds. So we're going to start over in the middle. Again, Ward up 4-0.
Yeah, it's a quick call by the official. Of course, these are not real big mats.
That's right. There's not a lot of room in the out of bounds here, given that you're squeezing 3 mats into one gym. So, yeah, you're going to get a pretty quick call there. And again, the wrestler's safety in mind there.
Right. Thomas is trying to work his way up. He's on the bottom with Ward controlling from the top.
Ward has a wrist and a half here. Let's see if he can do something with it. Thomas
pretty
on
high,
his
though.
hip. Yeah, he is. And Thomas is on his hip. It's going to be hard for Ward to drive him all the way over. So that's the end of the first period. Again, Consolation had those 1-minute first periods. They go pretty quick.
Yeah, that's the thing is a lot of new wrestlers, when they get into consolation matches, don't realize
That's right. They're not ready
1 minute.
for that. That's right. So Thomas chooses neutral here. We're going to start on our feet, and the second period's underway here. Both wrestlers circling. No contact made yet, and there we go. They tie up.
Thomas is, they're circling on the edge of the mat. Thomas moves back to the middle.
That's right. And so, again, they readjust here and reaching. And now Ward with a shot. Nice shot. Not able to finish it, though. And now, I believe, we had an out-of-bounds call before he finished. So Ward finished it, but the whistle had already blown, so we're still neutral. No takedown awarded. We start over now. Thomas circling, changing his levels.
Thomas got to be a little more careful on trying to roll through those takedown efforts. He could get stuck on that.
Yeah, he does. And, I'll tell you, Bill, that's one thing I think you see with a lot of young wrestlers is that you can be successful doing that in the lower grades and in elementary school and things. And Thomas had a lot of wrestling experience and had a lot of success. So, he's doing those things that carried over.
Right.
Ward with a nice takedown there, and now he's back out in front. But, again, it's now, I believe, 6-0. Now he turns Thomas on his back.
And it's
Thomas has a near fall criteria.
Yeah, Thomas has got to he's got to dig an elbow in and keep the shoulder blade
he's
up.
He's not in very good shape right now, is he?
Now, although
Thomas, to his credit,
although Ward's positioning, he's got trying to get a figure 4 in on the legs.
Yeah, Ward's in a lot better position now. Thomas momentarily, I thought was going to be able to roll him through.
And he does. He does. He got his hip over.
Yeah, let's see if he can. And that's
wow.
Well, 3 back points, and there's a reversal. So that's going to make us, Coach, I want to say 9-2.
I agree. I think 9-2, 8-2 is a reasonable estimate. And Thomas was near back points. Unfortunately, we're too close to the edge of the circle.
Yeah, that's right. Thomas just about got his own back points there. You're right. So we're going to start over here. Ward's going to be down.
And this is where conditioning may be a kid that comes out with a lot of energy in the beginning of the match. may kind of tail off at the end, and Thomas's conditioning is pretty good. So
Right.
that was the one thing Thomas could do with the shoulder injury, or the rather collarbone. He could run.
Right, keep that conditioning base. And again, like we mentioned before, that's so important in wrestling.
Thomas got the half. He's turned him, Chuck.
He's got him turned.
Not long
back
enough.
through. No back points awarded there, but that'll end the period here, though. So Thomas, again,
Going to be a good third period, Chuck.
yeah, he showed some control there at the end. And, again, I think, like you mentioned, I think Ward is getting a little tired here, Coach.
Yeah. They choose, I believe Ward chose neutral.
Yes, he did. So we're going to start on our feet again. Again, Ward does have, a nice takedown that we've seen. So let's see if he can get another one.
Now Thomas
with his
gets
own
in on a
shot,
single. Takes it
and
to a
he
double.
dumps him off. There we go. So Thomas with a takedown.
And Ward is tired, Chuck.
Yes, he is. That shouldn't have been that easy for
No.
Thomas. And Ward
And
kind
they-
of gave it up.
Oh, very.
Thomas goes to the half, drives him out of bounds. So we're going to restart. Ward will be down on the whistle.
And I believe it's probably either 9-4, 8-4 at this point.
I'd buy that.
And then we'll.
So there's the whistle.
He's got an arm bar.
Gets him flat. Puts the half in on the left side. Ward to his hips. Now back to his knees. Ward basically crawling out of bounds
Yes,
there. He's got to be
yes.
careful. Coach, in the old days, we would encourage guys to do that, but
Nowadays, you're going to get busted. For
that's right. Nowadays, the referees are a lot more on top of that, and they call fleeing the mat on that. But used to be a wise coaching move, but not so much anymore.
Oh, Thomas.
Yeah, right. Ward, tried to sit out, and Thomas looks like he locked hands as he did it. So
And that's a hurtful point.
yeah, it really is. So Thomas is going to give him an automatic escape here, and we're going to start over in the neutral position. So.
And that may be the only option for Thomas
Well,
now.
I think it's smart, given the fact that he just took him down pretty easily. I think
Yeah.
he'll be able to do it again.
He needs a 5-point move for our spectators. 5-point move is a takedown when you take the guy right to his back.
Right, and get the 3 back points.
Right.
So 2 plus 3. So Ward looked like he was setting up a throw there, trying to go for a potential 5-point move, but Thomas, his credit, was smart and just drove him out of bounds.
Yeah, Thomas could have got that hip over, nearly picked up the takedown.
Yep. So again, they work to the edge and go back out of bounds. So again, Ward walking back to the middle, Thomas jogging back. Definitely right has turned into
Tom's got the front
now
headlock.
Ward with a shot.
But he rolls him
Thomas
through,
goes
Chuck.
back, but rolls him over.
And this could. He has that tight,
Ward,
Chuck.
Ward, I think, is stuck, Coach. No, Ward able to roll through.
But that's the 5-point move we were talking about.
Exactly right.
And we may have to
Takedown
kick
the
him
back.
out here.
Oh, you want to avoid another locking hands or any kind of a penalty here, and that's exactly what Coach Thalen tells him to do. We're going to go neutral here to finish up.
And I believe that would make it 12-9.
I think so.
So we're looking at a 3-point match. Another 5-point move by Thomas, or a 4-point move.
Just about put it away here.
Yeah.
Now Ward with a shot. Ward with a nice takedown. Thomas
in
has
deep.
the belly out. Yes, he did. So Thomas now needs to make some action from the bottom. Ward with wrist control on the left wrist. Looks like he's trying to run the half on the right side, maybe.
Thomas needs to take a page out of Ward's book and get out of bounds.
And he
here.
just did there. And again, a sneaky little shuffle out of bounds there by Thomas Wright to get a fresh start here in the middle. So
Ward reached down and found that extra takedown that he probably didn't think was there still, but
so we've got a situation here where, again, now Ward decides he's going to also give Thomas an escape, so we're going to start neutral. So
kicks him out. There must be, I'm saying, short time here.
Yeah, got to be real close. Thomas with a high crotch. Ward, nice job blocking it off. Thomas has got to be careful. Ward doesn't turn that into a takedown. Now Ward is definitely scrambling out of bounds to avoid the takedown, and referee's not going to call it though, Coach. We're not going to get a fleeing call on this mat, it looks like.
When you get in short time situations, they put the flag in the pocket, so to speak.
Yeah, they don't want to decide the match on a call. That's definitely right.
No.
And now Ward with a front headlock of his own. Thomas on his knees. Ward on his feet.
Thomas is trying to crawl in, but I think that's going to be
crowding him. But we're going to get and at the end of the match, so that's it. So Thomas Wright holds on with a nice victory. Nice job. No, I'm sorry. It looks like
Ward
had the victory there.
Ward picked that up. I think it was.
Yes, he did right there at the end.
We don't have a clear look at the clock, but I'm going to say it was probably 14-10.
Yeah,
and
had to have been close.
Yeah.
And again, Coach, that's a situation like we talked about with the vest match. If you didn't know the score like we did, we certainly would have pricked that Thomas was the winner.
Pretty much true there, and
dictated the action, controlled the match. But again, Ward was able to get enough counters to make it happen.
I think if Thomas had had a full season under his belt, that could have been an entirely different situation.
I don't think there's any doubt about that, Coach. I agree with you 100%.
And so we should be moving to
our next wrestler will be Zach Hrabak at 160.
And Zach should be up here relatively soon.
I'd say pretty close. Yeah, pretty quick.
The bigger kids are onto the mats. And I do not see Zach where he's at, but I'm sure he's bouncing around somewhere around there.
I'd say he's warming up probably.
Oh, there he is. He's behind the bench on mat 3 here, or behind the scorer's table, rather.
Yes, I see him now.
And so we move on to the tournament with Zach coming up and then Cameron Klein here. And hopefully we get a couple Astros moving on into the championship round here for the first and second place matches.
That's right.
Cameron Block will get a chance to wrestle back. Thomas Wright, unfortunately, with his second loss in a double elimination,
that'll do it for Thomas.
Yeah, is out of the tournament, but bright future for Thomas. He is a wrestler first, by all accounts.
That's for sure.
And he's going to work hard to get himself ready to go next year.
And again, Coach Thomas is another young man that I know spent a lot of time this summer working with individual coaches and camps and clinics and things trying to improve his wrestling. And it's a shame that he had that injury that really knocked him off track this season, because I think he really would have made some noise here as a freshman.
Yeah.
But again, he'll have a good sophomore year.
Yeah, and from a football perspective, Justice Thomas was starting, never playing football before this year, had communicated to me just in the past few weeks before the injury that he was finally starting to understand the game of football and was really being productive, and then he breaks his collarbone in several places.
That is a real shame.
So we're looking forward to getting Thomas back in football and, of course, wrestling. And I hear he's a very accomplished discus thrower.
Oh, really? I was not aware of that.
I believe he may be our school's record holder in the junior high for discus. Yeah.
Huh. Oh.
So he's excited. He's stoked up about,
I'm sure he would be.
Getting into track. Thomas told me that he has his own discus, and he goes home and he practices in his backyard.
Really?
So that's what you like to see.
That's great. So again, waiting on Zach Hrabak at 160, and just to recap, Zach will be wrestling Ray Day from Reading, and like we mentioned before, Ray Day is the #1 seed. He's the returning champion, I believe. Here is that correct?
Yeah, I believe you're right.
Yeah, the returning champion at 160 pounds last year. Did not qualify for the state tournament, So I'm sure he's looking to do that this year after finishing the sectional tournament here.
Well, being a senior, it's, again, last time around. Now, he is the returning tournament champion, so that gives him a little extra confidence. But, looking at that weight class, you've got a returning sectional first place, 2 4s, 2 5s. Actually, Zach's is not on there, but he was the alternate where he wrestled at Hopewell Loudon last year. So we have 3 5s and a 6. So all the seeded kids were in position to move on to districts last year.
Well, and Coach, another thing, too, there's 11 young men in that weight class, and 7 of the 11 have winning records.
Right.
And, so that's a pretty tough weight class here this year.
Yeah, and you see that from year to year. Weight classes shift back and forth. Coaches, and some kids play that wave, too. They look for the weight class. They feel, hey, where's my best chance to get to state?
Right.
And you can't fault the kid, because that can entitle him to a scholarship somewhere. And so it's part of the chess match, which is wrestling.
Very true.
Well, Chuck, I'm going to go bounce down. Zach's nearly up, and I will be back here in a few minutes.
All righty.
I'll turn this over to Rick.
Going mat side for Zach's match, and we'll continue our coverage here. It's like Rick Phillips is going to join us here briefly.
All right, I guess Bill's going to head down and take a first-hand look at his son's match coming up.
That's the tradition, and doesn't want to break it. And who can blame him with the kind of success that Zach has had? So Again, momentarily, he will be up.
He'll be on mat 1 or mat?
Mat 1.
Okay,
yep,
mat
we're just
1.
waiting right now. We have a Blanchester wrestler wrestling a Purcell Marion wrestler on mat 1. I'm sorry, I'm not sure what wrestler that is from Blanchester. But they are in the third period.
13-2.
They're in the third period. The time getting ready to expire. So
6-5. It's a close match.
All right. Again, just waiting for our next match to start. Action just ended on mat 1. And we'll see who the next match is on mat 1. If Zach is up or if we still have one match to go. Okay, it looks like we're going to have one more match to go. I recognize this is Austin Seaman of Deer Park getting ready to wrestle on mat 1. Austin is the returning champion at 145 pounds last year. Was a state qualifier after finishing third of district, so definitely a quality wrestler getting ready to wrestle on mat 1 right now. And again, that is in the 152-pound class, so Zach Hrabak will be up next in 160 pounds. While we're waiting, too, I look on mat 2, and I see Houston from Blanchester. He's wrestling Kaylee Cummins of Cincinnati Hills Christian Academy. These are two very good wrestlers. Houston, I believe, only a sophomore, and lost a heartbreaker here at Sectionals last year to Ben Mears of East Clinton. Ben went on to the district tournament and was the second East Clinton wrestler to qualify. But anyway, that was a year ago. Houston's back this year. And mat 3, we've got a wrestler from Lockland and a wrestler from another Deer Park wrestler. So again, like we mentioned too, schools could have multiple guys wrestling at the same time. So you really need to make sure your coaching staff is ready for that, and you've got people ready to cover all the mats. So
sort of like us when we have to do more than one event at the same time.
Exactly. Yep. You got to make sure your ducks are in the row. All right, so again, if you're just joining us, we're coming to you live from the Sectional Wrestling Tournament, Southwest Division III Sectional Wrestling Tournament at Blanchester High School in Blanchester, Ohio. And again, we have a 17-team field here. Give you a quick rundown of the teams while we wait for our next match. Again, we have Blanchester, Reading, Claremont Northeastern, North College Hill, Bethel Tate, Deer Park, Williamsburg, East Clinton, Marymount, Summit Country Day, Purcell Marion, Cincinnati Hills Christian Academy, Roger Bacon, Hillcrest Academy, Madeira, Lockland, and Cincinnati Country Day School. So again, as you would expect, the Southwest District dominated mostly by Cincinnati area schools. Just to give you a little bit of an idea where the breakdown is, Jamestown Greenview, which is located just north of East Clinton, they are at the Milton Union sectional tournament this weekend. So there are a couple of different Southwest District sectional tournaments this weekend. Here at Blanchester, at Milton Union, and I believe also at Sidney Lehman. So again, the wrestlers from those different sectionals will meet up next week at one of the district tournaments. The winners from this tournament will advance to Troy, to the Hobart Arena, for the district tournament next weekend.
And while I've got a minute here, just want to remind everybody that our sponsors for this event, Melvin Liquid Fertilizer, they're located at 6704 East US 22 in Wilmington, Ohio, actually Melvin. Their phone number is 937-584-2451. They have custom agricultural application liquid and dry fertilizers, custom agricultural chemical applications, soil sampling, crop planting, seed sales. Remember to call Paul Harris. That's 937-584-2451 for your agricultural crop needs. And also by MC Auto, located in Sabina, Ohio, at 11 East Washington Street. Their hours, Monday through Saturday from 9 to 6. They're open right now. We offer guaranteed financing. And also Charlie's Place, the home of the Astro Burger and our Thursday East Clinton Sports Show. They're at 416 East Washington Street. Their hours are Monday through Thursday, 10 to 9, and Friday, Saturday, 10 to 10. Don't forget to come this Thursday for the live show. They're offering a large one-topping pizza for $10. Join us at Charlie's Place for the show this Thursday, 7 p.m. We're also being supplied with a laptop for one of our broadcasting crews from Rent to Own. We hope to be doing some shows. I know we've got some basketballs to throw out at the next basketball game.
Great.
Rent to Own in Wilmington, Ohio. Give them a call, 866-OK2-RENT, R-E-N-T.
All right, definitely a big thank you to all our sponsors. And make sure you support them and tell them how much you appreciate them supporting GTVR, bringing you your East Clinton Astros sports. So again, just waiting for the matches to finish up. East Clinton wrestler Zach Hrabak on deck for the 160-pound semifinal match. And again, Zach wins this match. He'll wrestle in the finals. That'll start tonight at 5 o'clock. And of course, stick with us. We'll bring that to you live.
I imagine we'll probably break for lunch, go off the air, and then come back for the 5 o'clock championship round. So we're not sure exactly when we'll leave the air. Obviously, when everything finishes up here, and then we'll be back at 5 o'clock or thereabouts for the championship section.
Okay, so again, Matt won Wrestling Championship rounds. Matt's 2 and 3 right now, are finishing up the consolation rounds. Excuse me, Matt's 1 and 2 are both championship. Matt 3 is the only Matt Wrestling consolations right now. So.
I guess we can tell because of the number of officials on each mat.
Right, as we mentioned earlier, 2 referees on the championship matches, only 1 in the consolation. That along with the time factor, we said again, consolation matches, as opposed to being 2-minute periods, 2-2-2, 3 2-minute periods, it is 1-2-2. You start with a 1-minute period. And while we have a second too, I'd like to thank our host, Blanchester High School. So it takes quite a lot of volunteers on their behalf to run these kind of tournaments, and to make it possible for a school relatively close for us to be able to come to.
If you haven't been in their gym before, it's a marvelous facility.
It really is.
We're up in the balcony, sort of overlooking the 3 mats. We got a fairly good crowd that's on hand for today's event, but they've certainly pulled it off, that's for sure.
Certainly. Okay, so again, just like we said before, waiting for Zach Hrabak at 160 pounds. He'll be followed by Cameron Klein at 182 pounds. And then we'll be back into the consolation brackets. And again, Josh Jones at 106 pounds would be our first wrestler, but given the limited numbers of wrestlers in his weight class, he has a bye there. So Josh has advanced to the 3rd and 4th place consolation finals. So Josh is guaranteed to be a district qualifier this year. We congratulate that young man, and becoming the 3rd East Clinton wrestler to qualify for districts in the history of the school. And again, Josh only a sophomore, so look for good things for him in the future. Following that will be Thomas Floria. Thomas will have a consolation semifinal match. Unfortunately, we don't know against who. We'll get to that information when we have it. And then the last consolation semifinal match, Cameron Block And again, we're not sure who Block will be wrestling, but again, he wins that match and he'll be wrestling for 3rd and 4th this evening as well. So again, 2 wrestlers still alive in the championship side, and 3 wrestlers still alive in the consolation side. And like we said, one of those 3 we know has already qualified. So a good showing today for the Astros. The Astros came into today tied for 6th place. They were in a tie with don't have that sheet handy, but I can tell you the updated scores we had. Last count, East Clinton was in 8th place with 31 points. So
they're just announcing Zach.
okay. Yep. All right, folks. So Zach is up here. Zach Hrabak up on mat number 3.
Yeah, this is going to be one of those stand
Right
up
in front
again,
of us,
looking
that's
over the
right,
balcony.
yeah. The one negative to our broadcasting position is that from this mat, we can't get a good view unless we stand up. So we end up talking all over each other. That's because we can't hear each other. We're moved from our original position to see the match. So Zach and Dave both at the scorers table checking in. Again, Zach wearing the scarlet East Clinton singlet, trimmed in white and gray. Ray Day in a silver or gray Reading singlet with the Reading Blue Devil on one hip, trimmed in blue. And Zach puts on his red ankle band, bouncing, warming up. Now they both step on the line, shake hands, and we begin. Both wrestlers circling, feeling each other out, going for wrist control. Now collar tied by Day. Zach shucks him away. We're back to circling. Zach goes for wrist control. Day back to the collar tie. Now Zach also with a collar tie. Both wrestlers ear to ear. Now forehead to forehead. They break. Zach goes for a shot. Can't get there, but he's able to back out. Both wrestlers back on their feet. Now Day takes a shot. Zach blocks it. Now Zach with a front headlock. Day to his hip, trying to cut the corner. Zach trying to stay out in front now, looking to get back around for a takedown. Day up to one knee. Again, Zach still in control. He has the headlock, but Day's on the elbow looking for a shuck here. See if he's able to finish. Now Day works back up to his feet. Both wrestlers on their feet. Zach still out in front, now off the headlock. Day now has control on the wrist. Day with a collar tie. Separate, now wrestlers circling. Back in the middle. Day with a shot. Can't finish, backs out. Again, right in the center of the mat now. Both wrestlers circling. No score yet. Just over 30 seconds left in the first period. Day now with another shot, not able to finish. Zach blocks it, front headlock. Day tries to block it off. Now they're both back on their feet. Day with an underhook on Zach's left arm. Takes a shot off of it, not able to finish. Zach with a front headlock again. Under 20 seconds to go. Zach onto his feet. Day on one knee. 10 seconds to go in the period. And it looks like we're going to end the first period all knotted up at 0-0. And there's the whistle. So again, really a feeling out period for most of the first period. Referee checks Day for blood momentarily. Looks like he's fine. Referee flips the disc. Comes up green, so it's going to be Ray Day of Reading's choice. Ray Day chooses down. And Day gets a signal from the official. He gets set. Now the referee momentarily looks at Hrabak, making sure there's no blood. And they found blood, so apparently Hrabak is bleeding. And blood time has been started, so try to stop the bleeding here with Zach. Again, just a reminder for our fans, blood time is 5 minutes, so from the start, he has 5 minutes of time to stop the bleeding, or he would have to forfeit the match. So again, looks like some blood around the nose, mouth area. Referee cuts the blood time. Not very much used there. I'm sure it was under a minute. Again, action hasn't started yet. They stop when the blood stops, but there's still some cleanup going on, wiping blood off, and Zach gets a drink of water, rinses his mouth out, and we're ready to go. So again, Green chooses down. Now we've got another delay. Apparently blood was found on singlet from Ray Day of Reading. And they're going to put a little antibacterial spray on that, wipe it up. And looks like we're good now. So Day will go down. And now Hrabak mounts. There's the whistle. Day, quick move to a stand-up. Zach trying to bring him back to the mat. They're hip to hip now. Zach over the arm, Day around the waist. Now Day comes around in front, gets the escape, so we're neutral. 1-0 Ray Day of Reading. Just over 1:30 to go in the second period. Again, 1-0 your score. Both wrestlers neutral on their feet. Day with a collar tie. Zach trying to block him off. Zach looking for wrist control. Day, little half attempt at a shuck. Trying to catch Zach leaning. Zach takes a shot, nothing there, backs out, no harm done. Now Zach with a front headlock, snaps Day to the mat. See if he can turn this into a takedown. He's got it blocked off, but Day has the other wrist trapped. Day, boy, Zach with a gator roll, and boy, he's not able to finish it. Ray Day catches him, and boy, Day just about turned that into a cement mixer there, but wasn't able to finish it. So Zach scrambles out. Now we're neutral, both wrestlers on their feet. Some good flurry there. But again, most of the match has been a lot of this. A lot of collar tie, ear-to-ear action. Just kind of feeling each other out. Again, two more elite wrestlers want to be very wary of them making any mistake here. And again, Ray Day back on the collar tie. Zach blocking him off, has his arm across Day's chin right now. Just trying to create distance. Again, wrestlers forehead to forehead. Now Zach on a collar tie as well. And stalling called now on Zach Hrabak. And again, more of the same. A lot of head-to-head, forehead-to-forehead collar tie action here. Both wrestlers pushing, pulling, looking for leverage. And that's going to end the second period there. So not a lot of action. A 1-0 score there on the escape at the beginning of the period. And Hrabak's choice is going to choose down. So being down 1-0, there's really not much else he can do here. All right, so Hrabak is set. Now Day mounts. There's the whistle. Hrabak quick to his feet. Day with a body lock here. Day able to bring him back to the mat. Day with a tight waist around with his right arm. Looking for wrist control with the left arm. Trying to pull it out, and again, not able to finish it. Hrabak slides out and gets an easy escape. So now we're tied up 1-1. Just over 1:30 to go in the third period. Again, this is a semifinal match. The winner will wrestle first and second. Loser will drop down into the consolation brackets. So Zach with another front headlock catches Day in a shot. And again, we've had this scenario several times this match. Hrabak has not been able to finish it. And we're going to get a call here stopping the action. And it looks like we have blood time again. Hrabak, I can see clearly now, it's his lip. And it is apparently bleeding again. So we're going to get another stop in the action. Blood time will begin again. And they will attempt to wipe off Hrabak's lip and stop the bleeding. So again, 1-1 with 1:19 to go in the third period. Very close match. Again, both wrestlers being very cautious not to take a chance here with each other. And again, Hrabak his second stop for blood time. And the bleeding stops, so now we're neutral. Again, 1-1, 1:19 to go in the period. Ray Day collar tie. Hrabak posting away. Now Day sucks him in tight. Hrabak's forehead on his shoulder. Day with a nice high crotch. Turns it into a takedown. Nice shot and finish by Ray Day of Reading. We're now at 3-1 with a minute to go in the third period. Hrabak in a base. Trying to work a switch. Can't get it. Now he's flat. Needs to build back to a base here. Ray Day riding both hips. Now he comes off to the right side. trying to run wrist control on the left arm, not able to do it. Hrabak now with a stand-up. Ray Day off to the side, so no pressure there. Zach gets an easy escape. So now we're at 3-2, 30 seconds to go. Zach with a shot here, knows he needs to score. Trying to finish, see if Day can block him off. Day has the underhook. Zach, an attempt there to try to throw or a slide by off of that, and basically got caught and just went right to his hip, and Day's able to turn into a takedown. So unfortunately, it looks like we're going to end this one 5-2. We're under 10 seconds to go here. Close match the whole way. Really came down to 2 takedowns there, both in the third period. And that's going to do it. So Ray Day from Reading, the number 1 seed and the returning sectional champion, is going to continue on to the championship match. Zach is going to fall down into the consolation bracket, and he'll need to win one more match to go for 3rd and 4th. So Zach definitely still alive and in good position. Just got to make some noise here in the consolation bracket. So that means East Clinton's next wrestler will be at 182. And again, that's Cameron Klein. And I believe Klein was just called on deck. So we're 2 matches out from Klein. So again, just to recap, Hrabak wrestled a close match there in the semifinals. Got taken down twice in the third period to end it. But again, a very close match. Good job by both wrestlers. And 2 of the more quality wrestlers we're going to see here today, I think. So again, moving on to 182 for East Clinton will be Cameron Klein. And Cameron wrestled Dylan Vogt of Deer Park, and pinned him in the first round. And then he, last night in the second round, decisioned Greg Abatello from Reading. And that matches him up now with Conan Nicely of Blanchester. Now, Conan Nicely of Blanchester is a junior, and he has a 35-8 record on the season. He is also the number 1 seed in today's tournament. So Cameron will definitely have his work cut out for him here as we go on to the 182-pound class. And again, following that, again, like we said, obviously Josh Jones won't wrestle at 106 pounds until the finals. Then at 113 in the consolation semifinals, we'll have Thomas Floria at 113 pounds, Cameron Block at 145 pounds, and Zach Hrabak at 160 pounds. So again, 5 Astro wrestlers still alive here, and at least 1 guaranteed to go on to the district tournament next weekend. And just to give you an update of the action going on right now in the consolation mat, which is mat 3. Looks like you've got a Claremont Northeastern wrestler wrestling. I believe a Hillcrest Academy wrestler. Looks like a C&E wrestler is about to score a pinfall, and he does. Mat 2, you've got Deer Park. And can't make out the other team. I believe that's Cincinnati Country Day. And mat 3, you've got North College Hill and Bethel Tate. So a lot of different schools represented right now.
In the hole, mat number 1, 160 pounds, PJ Ratcliffe of Bethel Tate, Greg Rigger of North College Hill. That is in the hole.
Okay, so we've got finishes of matches on mat 1 and mat 2.
Now mat number 2, 170 pounds, Brandon Breachley of Blanchester, Patrick Keown of Williamsburg, mat number 2.
And one of the better wrestlers in the tournament also getting ready to come up is Brandon Breesley of Blanchester. Brandon is the number 1 seed. He's a senior. He was the champion last year in this weight class here at the sectional. Also 34-2 on the year. So Brandon's having an excellent season. Looking to continue that on all the way to state. Again, Brandon is senior, but comes from a nice wrestling tradition here at Blanchester. I know he's had some family members wrestle here in the past, and again, like we mentioned so many times in wrestling, a lot of times those family ties help keep you involved and help make you a better wrestler. Breeze will be wrestling a Williamsburg wrestler, so I'm sure this is a rematch at some point of a SBC matchup earlier in the season.
37 seconds.
Also have a Blanchester wrestler wrestling on mat 1. Not sure which one that is, but again, 2 Clinton County wrestlers going right now on mats 1 and 2. And again, waiting on our next wrestler, Cameron Klein, 182 pounds. And again, Klein will be wrestling, as we mentioned, Conan Nicely, also of Blanchester. So, little cross-county matchup here. Nicely is 35-8 on the season, only a junior, but did not wrestle or did not place this tournament last year. So, not sure what weight class he was last year.
You are listening to Sectional Wrestling on GTVR.net. We've got Rick Phillips with Bill Hrabak and Chuck Hale. Chuck is doing our play-by-play / color right now, covering it all.
Well, we're doing our best, Rick, that's for sure. So again, like we mentioned, 3 matches going at all times. Mat 1 just ended, didn't see the result. We had a Blanchester wrestler wrestling there, but unfortunately I missed the result. Don't know if he won or not. Now we have North College Hill and Roger Bacon getting ready to start on that mat. Again, Breesley of Blanchester right now on mat 2. And again, just waiting for our next wrestler, Cameron Klein, excuse me.
We'd like to remind everybody that we will be covering the Chillicothe at East Clinton boys basketball. It'll be senior night. That's this coming Wednesday. Our broadcast starts at 7, so tune in. We will have audio and video for that basketball game. We also will be covering tournament action with East Clinton, and keep an update on the front page of our website as far as the dates and times for that action.
That's right. Just a reminder too, Rick, you can find archives of our past games and matches there as well if you'd like to go back and listen and maybe get some fond memories going there. And also feel free to leave your comments there. We do read them, and we're always looking for ways we can improve. Again, if you have questions or anything else you want to pass along to us, we greatly appreciate that.
The archives are very popular. We get a lot of people going back and revisiting those games and matches. I'm sure part of those numbers are probably contributed by Lee Hindy. I think he goes back and he watches anything where he's done an interview.
That makes sense. All right, if I'm not mistaken, I believe we just had a match at 145 that tells us that Cameron Block is going to be wrestling Damon Bridges of North College Hill coming up in the next round. So we'll have to go see if we can go back and find the record. I would go on a limb and say those two have probably wrestled each other at least once this season. So we'll see what happens. So Breesley gets a victory on mat 2 to continue his tournament. And let's see here. Okay, so again, Cameron Klein coming up right now on mat 3. And again, wrestling Conan Nicely of Blanchester. So should be a nice cross-county matchup here. All right, so again, Cameron in the scarlet East Clinton singlet, and Nicely a Bland in of course, they're navy blue with white Wildcats down the side, white strip of Wildcats, and Wildcat on the left hip. All right, so here we go, tie up here, and both wrestlers coming out very aggressive. Nicely looks for a front headlock that Klein battles out of it. ear to ear now. Nicely with a shuck, nothing there. Klein doing a good job staying low here in his stance. Now Klein with an overhook here. Nicely jacks him up, trying to set up a throw. Klein gets his hips low, trying to fight it off. See if he can hold off on him. Again, trying to jack him up. With a body lock, he's under both of Klein's arms and they go out of bounds. So probably a good save there for Klein. Nicely, definitely looking for a throw there. Now nicely with the underhook again, front headlock. Drops down, goes for a double, and drives Cameron all the way off the mat. So
Kept his hips back pretty well there, Chuck.
yes, he did, but Nicely's definitely been the aggressor here so far. Now we restart in the middle. And again, fighting for hand control. Nicely again with a front headlock. Again, drops down. Now double underhook, trying to jack him up again, and drives him out of bounds. So Cameron's got to be careful not to get hit for stalling here.
Yeah, I agree.
He's done a lot of backing up here.
And he's got to try to stay out of that double underhook
Yes,
situation.
he does. Again, Nicely's already tried twice to throw him from there. Again, both times Cameron's able to force the action out of bounds. Now Cameron with a shot of his own, and he drives Nicely out of bounds. So
nicely fended that off.
Yes, he did. He fought that off very well. So
a little offense on Cameron's behalf there.
Nice to see. So, boy, Nicely snaps the front headlock off the whistle to a double. Drives Cameron out of bounds again. So we're at 43 seconds left. No score here in the first period.
Those are opportunities if Cameron can drop down when he's out of control.
That's right. There's another shot by Cameron. Nicely, nice job shucking it by. Turns into his own takedown. Now picks him up off the mat. Half in on the left side. Now looks like he's trying to gator roll.
He's got him tied up.
Hips over.
Cameron's got to punch it through.
And
nice job by Cameron.
Nice job by Cameron to fight that off. But he does get 2 back points, so we're at 4-0 here nicely with under 15 seconds to go in the period. Nicely looks up at the clock. I imagine he's just going to look to ride him out here.
And it look a little like stalling on both ends there, Chuck.
Yeah, you're right. And you get in these upper weight classes and get later in the tournament, these guys are going to get tired.
End of the period. Show of that. Yeah, they kind of drift through that last 15 seconds.
That's exactly right. That's a good way to put it. They drifted through it.
Nicely, from record, from what I understand at the seeding meeting, has beaten most of the kids on this list.
Yeah,
so he's a quality opponent.
So there's the start. Again, Nicely starts down. Klein trying to break him down. Nicely still in his base. Cameron off to the right side. Nicely now on his feet.
Cameron's got to try to
turns and faces him. This should be one, and there
probably
it is.
Wants to get out of that, Chuck.
Yep. Nicely again going for another lock.
Nice and tight.
And that was a nice throw by Nicely. We're at 7-0 now, and Cameron is in trouble on his back. Cameron trying to come through. He's got to crowd Nicely's hips, and Nicely keeps
Cameron's got to try to follow him and get the hips down.
Yeah, the old chase, but he can't quite get there.
Now he's trying.
Now Nicely's got this locked up tight.
Yeah.
See if Cameron can get out.
And really, if Cameron could get out of here without only just giving up 3 points, we'd be.
Yeah, that would almost be considered a victory at this point.
It'd be a moral victory, that's for sure.
But again, we've still got a minute to go in this period. Cameron can't.
Pretty tight on the
head.
Can't
stay on his back for a minute like that, I don't think. Yeah, Nicely is. Okay, so Nicely,
helps us.
Yeah, he had the headlock locked up, and I guess the arm fell out there. It became an illegal headlock, and Nicely kept it, so we stopped the action here. Cameron gets a penalty point, and it looks like now we've got some blood on Cameron, so blood time running here for Cameron, and 10-1 our score, 53 seconds left.
Pretty nice lateral drop there on that throw. He had it wizard lock in and brought the arm across the chest. And
yeah, that's about as tight as you're going to see it.
Yeah,
that was nice.
Good move.
Yes, it was.
And as I was saying, talking to Doug, he was saying this kid has beaten everybody on the 182 list, so he's got an impressive resume coming into this match, and Cameron's going to have to wrestle smart here in the third period to pull this thing back
That's right. Okay, so we're getting ready to start here. Klein will be down because he was the bottom wrestler when the action stopped. And again, Nicely will be on top
They
here.
got blood on Nicely apparently, so they're cleaning him off.
Okay. 53 seconds to go here. Again, 10-1 Nicely. Going into the Nicely just informed the referee he wants to be neutral, so Klein get a free escape here. So now we're 10-2.
Nicely's probably thinking about tech fall right at this situation.
I'm sure he's thinking it'd be easier to throw this guy than turning.
Yep.
So.
He gave him his best shot on that drop and couldn't take him out, so
That's right.
spend a lot of energy on that move.
And again, Nicely pounding inside, trying to get that again, going for that. And Klein
Nice attack
attempted
by
a shot.
Cameron.
Nice job by Nicely to block it off and right into the double underhook. Nicely looking to jack him up and throw him again, but they'd go out of bounds.
And that's a product of Cameron coming in with his arms too wide when
Well,
he
that's
shoots
exactly
it.
right, and probably a little bit too high. You know,
Yeah.
if you're lower in your stance, you're not going to get jacked up like that. And you can see Cameron did a better job of that this time, and Nicely's not able to get his hips close.
Cameron's doing a good job wrestling the edge of the mat, but then again, he comes in with arms spread.
That's right. Yeah, you know, again, an attempt at a shot, but again, like you said, arms too wide, and you're not going to finish against a quality opponent like Nicely like that.
Our wrestling coaches used to put string around our elbows so that we wouldn't get them too far apart.
Yep, handcuff you.
Yep.
So, that's the end of the period. It's going to be Klein's choice, and again, like we mentioned so much, Klein in the position where he really has no choice but to go down. Nicely again, though, gives him the free escape, doesn't want to wrestle on the mat, wants to wrestle on his feet.
Nice quickness on Cameron's behalf.
Yes, it was there. Nicely took a quick shot, Cameron out of the way quick. Nicely again with the jack up body lock, basically a bear hug. Either going to try a lateral drop or step through and trip him.
Nicely, he's just kind of a mauler. Really got to watch that he doesn't get that whizzer again, though.
Yeah, but again, Cameron doing everything in his power to block those throws, but and I think he's frustrating Nicely to that end, but Nicely's been able to score just the same.
He's got the
Now Nicely with an
whizzer
overhook.
down, he's going to have to watch that.
And both wrestlers go to a knee,
Got
changing
the
their level.
overhook. He's
Over under there.
driving into him, looking for the throw. For our wrestling fans, when they get an over-under, the wrestler in control tries to drive into him. When he feels a pushback, then he hits the throw, and
Snap that guy back.
a lot of times you're in big trouble.
That's right.
Cameron could throw here himself. He's got an overhook and an under.
And honestly, Coach, given the scenario of the match right now, at 10-3 with less than a minute to go,
That's what he's going to have
that
to
might
do.
be his best bet.
Yeah,
That's
I
right.
agree. I mean, you got to catch some lightning in the bottle here, and
That's exactly right.
as one wrestling coach calls it, reach in your bag of tricks and find something that works here.
That's right. So again, both wrestlers on their feet.
Kind of
double
a
underhook
fireman
again.
attempt there, but
Yeah, kind of a half attempt. Now Nicely on the leg. Can't hold on. Klein lets
Nicely's
it go.
he's going to cruise out here, Chuck.
Yeah, he's in no hurry to make any
He
kind
just
of
looked
move.
at the
and
clock and said, "Okay, now you
he
got
knows
to."
the scenario.
Yeah.
And we're out of bounds again. 15 seconds to go. 10-3 Nicely. Both wrestlers on their feet. And we have a break in the action here. Blanchester coach questioning the official.
Chuck outside of a throw here, which I imagine Nicely's not going to let himself get too tied up with this. Cameron's going to have to come up with something here creative.
Yeah, that's right. This situation where you would need what we used to call the home run.
Yeah, the home run.
You got to have a big play here, and
And he needs bases loaded, too.
that's right. Time slipping away here. Under 10 seconds. Again, Nicely just doing his best to avoid him. Klein almost with a throw.
Wow.
Brought Nicely to the mat, but wasn't able to finish him. Cameron, another attempt. And we're out of time.
That was a good effort.
That was a nice throw at the end, out of bounds, unfortunately,
Yeah.
and time expired. But
He lost a little control on it. If he'd have been able to keep control. it'd have been a little too late, but might have been able to make it interesting right at the end there.
That's right. At least you would have had a shot. Okay, so that wraps up East Clinton in the championship rounds.
And
let's give a quick recap here, Coach. Coming up here, again at 106, we're going to have Josh Jones in the finals for 3rd and 4th place.
Right.
So he won't wrestle until this evening.
Right.
Then we have Thomas Flory at 113. He's in the consolation semifinals.
He will have to
wins
wrestle.
one match, and he will go for 3rd and 4th.
Right, exactly. Or he's in 5th. He's actually going to wrestle tonight one way or another.
That's true. You're right, Coach.
He'll be in for 5th or 6th if he loses, but we hope it's in the 3rd and 4th slot.
Exactly. And like we mentioned before, because that 5th spot is only an alternate, which means you may not be guaranteed a spot in the district tournament. At 145 pounds, Cameron Block is going to wrestle Damon Bridges of North College Hill.
And he is 1-1 against Bridges this year.
Okay, there we go. We mentioned that earlier what the record was, so there we go.
Right.
1-1, so that'll be the rubber match right there.
It will be.
Marbles,
it
Coach.
will be. That will be a great match.
That's right. And of course, again, then we jump to 160. And again, Zach Hrabak lost a close match to Ray Day, and so he is going to be in the consolation semis as well.
Yeah, I'm not
again,
sure.
Again, guaranteed at least 6th place.
Right.
And Cameron, again, same thing. With the loss here, he'll drop down into the consolation semifinals. So a lot of Astros still alive. Unfortunately, no one on the championship side. But again, what we're after here, really, like we've mentioned, is a top 4 finish, and all those young men are still in good position to do that. So,
well, I think when you look at it, the kids that you're getting in this round, the kids that got beat, they were wrestling 1s or 2s, and so not really representative in this kind of tournament where you're at, because sometimes if you happen to be on the same side of the bracket with the best kid, you may truly be the second best wrestler, but just the way the draw goes, you don't get to play it out that way. So
and that's the whole idea behind seeding in a tournament like this. You want to try to get potentially your best matchups in the championships, not have them wrestled in the earlier rounds, and a good kid may get knocked out. So, but at the end of the day, then again, Coach, you're going to have to wrestle them all anyway.
Yeah, and the thing is, that's why it's when you go into that 3rd and 4th place match, if you don't want to truly have to wrestle that number 1 kid again until, say, the championship of districts, then you've got to win in that 3rd and 4th place match to take yourself away from that guy. And for our sports fans out there that don't understand the complete seeding, the number 1 from our sectional would never see the number 2 or 3 until the championship match if they stayed true to winning.
Exactly right. They'll be split apart.
And if your district or your sectional is strong enough, then you have that opportunity to show that you had the top 2 wrestlers in that weight class. And we've got Doug Stalen here. Coach, how about a little review on the tournament so far, your observations and outlook for the rest of the tournament?
Well, you can definitely tell this is day 2 of the tournament. We came out here yesterday. We had a really good first day. Going into day 2, we had 4 guys in the semis.
Right.
We only had 1 guy out of the tournament. 5 were still in the consos. And this morning's been real rough for us. Definitely, you can see the experienced wrestlers are definitely showing today.
Right.
The guys who have been here before, the guys who've made it to districts and state, you can definitely see their skills today.
The top,
yes, and we got a lot of first-year kids, second-year kids, freshmen, sophomores, who this is their first or second time here. But our matches though today, we've wrestled well. We weren't getting the wins like we hoped to, but several of our matches I went the full 6 minutes today.
Right.
That's one thing I've been asking my guys all season long is go out there and wrestle 6 minutes, and we've been doing that pretty well today.
And Coach, we talked about Peyton Vest particularly as one of those that has done that and finished this season with a 6-minute match. Mm-hmm. Not the result he wanted, but again, to not get pinned early.
I think Vest worked hard all season. I think he would have liked a better season what he had, but you know what? He went out there that last match and like you said, he wrestled for 6 minutes, and it pushed him to full time. He didn't give up. He kept on fighting, and that's what that's all we can ask for.
Doug, you want to talk a little bit about the importance of the 3rd and 4th place matches? Chuck and I were just talking to the people out there about, sometimes the top 2 guys end up in the same side of the bracket, and the importance of being able to rectify that in that 3rd and 4th place match going over to districts.
Yeah, actually this next round, as soon as this round is coming over, we're actually starting another round of consos, and actually I think if you talk to a lot of the coaches love this round the most because this is the go-to round for districts. You win, you're going to districts. You lose, you're going to be going for 5th place as maybe an alternate.
And there's no guarantees there.
Yeah, there's no guarantee there, and and that's where we're at right now. We got several of our guys still in it in this match here, so hopefully we can get them out, get some wins this round, and move on to districts.
Okay. So. We know that Josh, looking at it, we've got Josh going for 3rd and 4th, and he is going to qualify for the district meet. But the reason you don't want to be a number 4 is?
Seating at districts. It's all based on, like, if you're a number 4 here at sectionals, you're going to be going up against a number 1 from another sectional.
Right.
So if we take 3rd here, we'll be going up against probably a number 2 from another sectional.
And theoretically a better chance for a victory.
Theoretically, yeah. So, all these matches here are still important. I've been telling the kids this week, hey, it's just the top 4. Top 4 goes, and hopefully that gets them some motivation. Now that we're in this final round, and be telling them, hey, we need to win this one now. This one's important now that we got here. Now that we're here, we need to get the job done.
Talk about next week's approach with practice when you have some kids that obviously your numbers are lower. How do you approach that next week going into districts?
Numbers are low. We've got a couple options. I've talked to the guys and told them that I expect everyone to come into practice next week and help out their partners who might have made it to go on to the tournament, because this year we ended, we got about 14 kids still on the team, and so we got good numbers this year for us, so we could have a good practice next week. I know there's other options about some schools get together and drill with so we could drill with some other kids that are their size as well. So we got our options. I think Monday we'll have a practice. We'll talk to the kids, kind of see how they want to handle this week. And we can go back out there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, get some tough practices in, and then we go up to Troy on Friday. So starts early on Friday.
Now, what time would the boys get out on Friday? Do you have an idea on that yet?
Check-in to the tournament is at noon.
Oh.
So the doors open for athletes, for the wrestlers and coaches at noon. I believe weigh-ins are start at 1 with wrestling beginning at 3. So we'll be leaving school real early Friday morning.
So pretty much they'll get to school, get to their first period class, and be getting on the bus.
Check in, turn in homework, and then we'll have to get on the van and head on up. So.
Good deal. Chuck and I were talking about Thomas, right? We were really impressed. The fact that Thomas came in 2-0, had a lot of rust from not wrestling all year, appeared to be in really good shape. Mm-hmm. Was not. I thought actually the Ward kid was more tired than Thomas was towards the end of that match.
Yeah, I was. Last week when he wrestled at Chillicothe, I was real impressed with him. He went out there both matches, got pins in both matches, and the one thing about Thomas that I really liked last week when I was coaching him was he was listening the entire time while he was out on the mat. We're telling him, we're shouting out things to do, and he's looking back or listening, and he's doing it. Last night and today, 2 good matches, and again, both matches going 6 minutes.
Right.
For someone who just came in this week, or 2 weeks ago, and this is their second meet to actually compete in, and they're going out there and fighting like that, I was real impressed with it. And the other good thing is that he's only a freshman.
Yes.
And I know Thomas he's the type of wrestler, and he did it last spring and all summer. He wrestled all spring and all summer. So, even though he missed, a good majority of this season, he wrestled a lot last spring and lot summer. And I know that here in a couple weeks, he's going to go back at it and do it again. And hopefully he's getting some more kids to go with him this spring and summer. And I think now that we're getting the numbers, I think if we get more mat time in the spring and the summer, that's going to make a huge difference for East Clinton wrestling.
Speak to the summer wrestling. You alluded to what Thomas has done, and of course Zach has done that for many years. The importance of continuing on. I mean, we're not talking about an everyday grind, but address that for our people out there.
Yeah, I've always told the guys what we used to do is, you go to open mats a couple days a week, you find the schools that are having them, and then you try to hit up a tournament on the weekend. And we always told the guys, look, this is not for me to go and coach you. You just get in a car with a group of you, get your parents, take you somewhere, and just wrestle, have fun. Don't worry about your weight. Don't worry about wins, losses. You want to go out and try all these moves. The summertime's the time to go out and try and learn new moves. That way, in the wintertime, you can perfect them.
Actually use them.
And I know Thomas, he worked out with a club last spring, and so he was getting good drill partners last year. He had some good coaches he was working with in the spring and the summer, and so he was really putting in a good effort to become a better wrestler.
As far as the summer's concerned, we talk about camps. Now, you ran a camp last year at East Clinton. Do you have plans at this point, or you give our listeners an idea of what you might be looking at?
Yeah, I think last year was the third or fourth year that we did it. And every year we've had in different people, different other coaches to come in, because most of the kids that come to our camp are East Clinton kids, all the way from youth to middle school to high school, and then we get some outside kids as well, which makes it even better. I know for the first two years, North College Hill, who's here today, they brought up their whole team. And,
Excellent.
I think they did that for 2 or 3 camps, and where they brought up their whole team. So that made more competition especially for the high school kids, why we had camp. And then, like I was saying, we bring in different coaches. I'm more of just a coordinator during the week. Mm-hmm. I get out on the mat and help, but I don't really do any teaching. I have all these other coaches who come in, who and they come in with. Sometimes they come in with different moves, or they might come in with some of the things that we do, but maybe a different.
Reinforce it.
Yeah, they reinforce it, or maybe a different way to get to that move. We've had some good coaches, really good coaches come in. I know one year we had Chuck's high school coach from Beaver Creek came in. My junior high coach came in one year. Last year we even had Coach Sears down there from Williamsburg. He came in for one day and taught freestyle and Greco for a day. So that was different. We had in Jake Howell, who's here from Blanchester, 2-time state champ. He came in one year, along with Corby running from Clinton Massey, 2-time state champion. We also had him in for a day. So, we've had some really, for being a small school and learning about wrestling and being a small camp, we've had some really good coaches come in to teach these guys more wrestling. So, yeah, and that's something, we'll do it again. It's usually, we've done it in the past, it's usually like the last weekend of June, or last week of June, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday camp.
Okay. Chuck and I were talking a little bit about summer camps with the freestyle and Greco-Roman. Any camp that you would say, if you're going to tell a kid outside of our East Clinton camp, hey, that would be one that I would take your wrestler to, where you're going to get some really good, solid technique teaching, the nuts and bolts basically of wrestling.
There's all kinds of good camps. Jordan's up in Graham always puts on good stuff. They're a powerhouse in Ohio,
right.
So they know what they're doing. That would probably be a very, very one of the top camps to go to.
And that's more of your elite level
That's
camp.
more of elite.
So what about more for, and I guess really what you're saying, Coach, is that it really doesn't matter where you go if you're getting that training and that wrestling in the summer. There's a lot of camps out there.
What I've been telling my guys, just go somewhere, I actually encourage my kids, just go to open mats. I know last year I've talked to I talked to Wilmington, I talked to Caution Courthouse. I've been talking to Clinton Massey this year. We're trying to get something set up so each school has a night of open mat, so we can tell our kids, okay, Monday night we go here, Tuesday night you go there, Wednesday night go there, you know. And those are free open mats where you just show up just to get some mat time, and that's the more mat time you can get is the better. A lot of times we see a lot of these kids, they come out, they finish their season and they sign up for a camp in June, and that's their only wrestling they're doing for the summer, which is better than none. But if we can get the kids out there on a weekly basis, even if it's only once, twice a week, that would really improve their wrestling.
As far as counseling young kids, you brought up the Jordan camp, which Chuck and I have talked about quite extensively over a couple broadcasts here. You think it's important to be realistic with your wrestler when you're looking at where you're going to take them? Jordan obviously has all the glamour and glitz of being that kind of camp, but yet can that be too much for a kid, you think, if you take them to the wrong camp?
Yes, definitely for like a lot of our first-year kids, second-year kids, they went out here, they pushed themselves every day in practice, they didn't get the wins they wanted, and if you send them to a camp where they're just going to get pounded on, some coaches are going to argue it's good for them, maybe they'll learn something, and sometimes if with the wrong kid, it might push them further out of the sport than what you want too. So I think it's going to depend on the kid. It's going to depend on their goal and what their plan is for their wrestling career. If it's their first year, and they know that, hey, it was a rough first year, but this is something I want to stick with and I want to improve, then maybe sending them to that camp is not going to hurt them.
Right.
But if it's a kid who had a rough year, not sure if they want to do it again next year.
Sits on the fence.
Yeah, you don't want to send them to that camp. You want to find something easier that they can go to, something that's more fun that'll keep them in the sport. Longer they're in the sport, maybe they'll start to improve then.
We see, I think everywhere, only being my first year at East Clinton, I can't really speak to this, but at other schools I've been at, we see biddy programs, 60, 70 kids, and that transition from that 6th grade year to that 7th grade year, something happens because we lose a lot of young wrestlers. And what do you think about, what might be something that you see as a reason for that happening?
It could be about the amount of work. I mean, you think about most youth clubs, they wrestle 2 nights a week. Sometimes your better kids might go 3, some even 4. But for the most of the 6th graders, probably you're doing 2 nights a week with a Sunday afternoon tournament that you can, for a few hours.
Right.
12 to 4, and you're done, you go home. Time when you get to junior high, our practices are every day. And then we're starting to go to tournaments where on Fridays, and sometimes it's a 2-day tournament.
Right.
Or the Saturday tournament, it's an all-day event. It's not like the youth tournaments where it's you go there at 12 and you're done by 3. The junior high is kind of pretty similar to the high school as far as the amount of practice time and the lengths of the tournament. So, and that's a big, and a lot of if you see some of your 6th graders who are not having a lot of success in the youth level,
right,
those are the ones that most likely don't continue it in the 7th grade. However, you get some kids that, they just like the sport and they want to stick with it, and win, lose, they just want to be there and learn and get better and stick around wrestling.
And we've seen Jim Vest has done a nice job with our biddy program, and has a number of kids that are going to the junior state championships. And
Coach Vest has done a very good job. I know I think this is his 3rd year with it, and he was an assistant before that. And he took over the program. He's also one of the youth football coaches, and that was a big recruiting tool for him. He's talking to all those football players, telling them what's going to help them become a better football player. And we got a lot of kids come out for the team, and they're having success. And Coach Ramsey, the junior high coach, he had about 10 kids this year on the team, and I think only 2 kids have had experience wrestling before. So he had, I think, about 8 kids that were first-year kids, and I know talking to Coach Ramsey the other week, he was really, kind of down because it was a rough year for him because he had a lot of first-year kids.
Sure.
And I told him, I said, Ramsey, the thing about it is all these kids a lot of his first-year kids that he had were all 7th graders. Next year they're going to the 8th grader. They're going to be the older ones, they're stronger ones. And the other thing, is we got several 6th graders this year that are in wrestling that's coming up to the junior high level.
And it's a big boys class from what I understand.
Yes, and I know yesterday we had a pep rally at school, and they introduced all the traveling basketball kids and the youth wrestler kids, And then they even talked about all the youth wrestlers who qualified for state, and I believe there were three or four kids, 6th graders, that qualified for either the OAC state tournament or the R-Way tournament. So.
Yeah, I think he had said that they had 4 qualifiers for the OAC and that they were going to the qualifier for the R-Way tournament. So, well, that's good stuff. That's when you get the kids wrestling at that level at a young age, you hope that translates over to the high school.
Yeah, hopefully. And hopefully a lot of the other youth kids, that maybe didn't qualify, they're seeing at a young age, too, that, some of our friends that we wrestle with on a daily basis, they made this big tournament, maybe they'll want to stick with it and join them one day at that tournament.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. You walk, now I don't know, I think they still run it down in Youngstown. And when you walk into that arena, it's like going into,
like being at the high school state tournament.
Yeah, exactly. It's like being at the Shot or, walking in a Progressive
You walk into the
stadium.
arena and there is 10, 12 mats on the floor. It's just, and they run it. They do everything. They do the parade. They do the awards. They do the, before the finals. They run it just like a high school championship tournament, and
Right.
it makes it special for them, and definitely, keeps them want to come back.
Now, I think the one thing with that tournament, some people will say, well, it's not good because the kids aren't motivated as they go on. They get to high school, it's not such a big thing. My argument would be, I think the kids that go to that, when they get to the state tournament as a high school athlete, they're not intimidated by that environment. They've been there, and so they can go in and they're a little bit more ready, wrestling ready to go into those kind of arenas.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about those kids who make it to state their first year in high school, and even districts. You make it to your first year at districts in high school, especially as a freshman. It's very intimidating. You walk in there and you see good. By the time you get to districts, there's no bad wrestlers anymore.
Right.
You're going to have a tough match every match.
Right.
So as a freshman, it can be very intimidating. So if you can get those kids at the younger levels to start participating in that type of higher level of wrestling,
In that environment.
time they get to high school, they're going to be more ready than the kid who, say, first year wrestler who comes out for wrestling, never been to that type of environment before.
Right. And for our fans out there, the parents of the younger kids, there's a big tournament in Columbus called the Tournament of Champions. I had the good fortune taking a couple of my kids down there when they were young, and I would recommend, if you can go to the Tournament of Champions, it's a great event, fantastic venue for your kid to go out and wrestle kids from all over the country, actually.
Mm-hmm. And that's to go back to that summer, spring wrestling again. The Tournament of Champions is a good one. I know this up in the summertime during the state fair, they got a big tournament where they
Right.
draw in thousands of kids. And I know at the high school level, even I believe they started doing it maybe last year or 2 years ago, part of the R-Way tournament. They have a high school level. And,
Right.
and really, again, summer wrestling is just about getting out there, getting mat time. It really doesn't matter what tournament you go to. As long as you're out there wrestling and having fun, meeting some new kids from other teams and seeing what they do to get better, that's what it's all about.
Right. Would you recommend with the kids, parents are looking at these type of things, that they consider maybe some freestyle, some Greco-Roman if those opportunities present themselves instead of just doing folk style?
Yeah, it's definitely going to help. I mean, freestyle and Greco is a different form of wrestling. It's they got a lot of different rules. But then, in the folk style, there's a lot of things that you can hit that you can transition into a folk style wrestling match.
Right.
For a lot of the people who don't know what the freestyle and Greco is, when you watch your Summer Olympics, that's the type of wrestling is the freestyle and Greco. Greco is just basically where you can do all upper body moves. Your freestyle wrestling is kind of similar to folk style, I would say, but the point system is a little different. You see more high risk moves in freestyle than you would
Because
in
of the back
folk style.
exposure rules
Yes.
and that. Would you say that with going into those kind of tournaments, if you went into those, that you've got to kind of mentally prepare your kids because it is going to be somewhat different?
There's a lot of different things. There's some aspects of it that are similar, but then there's some things that are different. When folk style, when you're on bottom, the first thing you want to do is you want to be fighting to a base and working for a stand-up to get out. In freestyle wrestling, if you get taken down, you just want to lay there. Eventually, the referee will stop the match, and you're back up on your feet. So, the first thing, if some of these kids, they want to go to some of those open mats where they're going to be working on freestyle, learn the rules. And then go to a tournament, give it a shot. You really got in the summertime. You've got nothing to lose. Just go out there and wrestle.
They don't keep the records.
Nope.
There. Does being a college wrestler, similarities? Probably. Would you say that's more of a transition from the folk style to freestyle because of the nature of college wrestling?
Yeah, a lot of times a lot of the freestyle wrestling Greco. Unfortunately, when I was growing up, it was a lot of your better kids were the ones that done it. I think now it's getting to a point where more and more kids are starting to do it. But yeah, I'd say in college, for kids who are wanting to go on and wrestle in college, they should definitely go out and learn some freestyle and learn some Greco. Especially learn some Greco because you're going to need those throws someday. So again, it's just a different type of wrestling, but it's all wrestling that you can use it interchangeable. Just some moves are some of the legality of some of the rules moves you can't do.
Different.
Yeah, are a little different, but the more mat time you get, don't matter what type of wrestling, it's going to make you a better wrestler in the long run.
To close it up here, I know you're going to have to get down there. As far as we're talking about college wrestling, what kind of opportunities? We've got a junior, senior that's out there who wants to continue on. What are some of the opportunities out there, say in the state of Ohio, for kids where they could pursue to continue their wrestling careers?
The OAC, which is I wrestled in at Wilmington College back when they had a program. They just dropped the program a few years ago. But the OAC, at the time, they had seven schools, I believe, that had wrestling teams. So with Wilmington dropping, I'm not sure, but I think they're down to 6 maybe. It was a very good competitive league. I remember this year I've been kind of following some of the teams, and I believe Mount Union, yeah, they've got a pretty good team, I believe.
Do they?
Yeah, for this year.
Imagine Mount Union has a good team.
Being down here in Southern Ohio, there's not as many options. However, Mount St. Joe, they do have a program.
Do they?
Yeah,
I was not aware.
That's
of that.
That's a D3 college there that they got a program. I've heard. I imagine some schools have club teams that you can join or something like that. But yeah, Baldwin Wallace, John Carroll, some of those OAC schools, Muskingum.
And Chuck and I were talking a little bit about the Division IIs, where we had talked about Lake Erie College.
Lake Erie College, that's a new one, I believe. I believe this is their second year of actually having a wrestling program. There was Jake Adams from Greenview went there. He went up there, I believe, on a scholarship and got to wrestle on their team. And Jake was another one that we've had down at our camp.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
good.
And he's wrestling in college now. And but I believe they just did a Division II, III national duels, and Lake Erie, I believe, was at the national duels.
Oh, good.
I'd say that's pretty impressive. I'm not sure what the criteria was to get into that tournament, but if there was a criteria, to be out of the national tournament for a second-year program, that's pretty impressive.
Very good.
Yes,
and
it is.
Then and I had said to Chuck, and maybe you can verify this, I believe Ashland University won the national championship a year or two ago.
I know a couple of years ago they were getting a lot of good kids in there. From Ohio, they were getting a lot of good wrestlers in there.
And that was one of the
Coach Derlin.
Yeah, Greg. Was it Greg Derlin?
Tim Derlin.
Tim Derlin. That's
he
right.
was the coach at the time. He is no longer there. But yeah, that's another good Ohio wrestling school. And another one is Kent State.
Oh yeah.
They've been doing pretty good the last 2 years. I know Sunday and Monday up at St. John's Arena, they're having the Division I national dual tournament.
Very good.
And I know Ohio State's going to be wrestling Hofstra in the first round.
First round.
Yeah. I believe Kent State's going to be there as well, with some of the other the best college teams in the nation right now.
Probably half the Big Ten will be there, I would assume.
Probably. I think there's 20, and there are several Big Ten schools there.
Yeah, imagine that. Well, Doug, we'd let you get back down there. Hey, congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's get some boys to the districts, and we'll be talking to you next week.
Sounds good. Go Astros.
It's
Thanks, Coach.
Doug Stalen. I was thinking about Derlin there from Ashland. That was Doug Stalen, the Astros head wrestling coach. And we've got some bills to take care of here. And so when you're driving through Sabina and you're looking for a vehicle, MC Auto is the answer to that, isn't it, Chuck?
It sure is. Located right in the heart of Sabina, right there at 11 East Washington Street. And if you're familiar with Sabina, it was what was the old Historical Society. So right there at the corner of North Howard and Washington Street there.
And their hours are Monday through Saturday, 9 to 6, so they're working extra overtime there.
That's right.
And they offer guaranteed financing. So stop in MC Auto, take a look what they've got. I just won a vehicle from their Chuck.
That's right. And they said they could finance even me. So
well, they can get anybody. I hope Lee,
It's amazing.
if Lee might have enough money after he's done with the IRS here that he could even go get a car.
Well, Lee's got those safety deposit box in the Cayman.
In the Cayman,
yeah,
that's
so he
right.
can always open one of
if he
those.
can get it anywhere, he can get it at MC Auto.
That's right. So stop by MC Auto, 11 East Washington Street, Sabine, Ohio. And then Charlie's Place. Of course,
Right.
They are hosting the Astros Sports Show on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. with your host, Jeremy Yankee. Jeremy brings in a variety of East Clinton athletes and coaches and people from the community. We talk sports, we talk Astros, we talk about what's going on in the East Clinton community. Charlie's is located at 416 East Washington Street. Hours are Monday through Thursday, 10 to 9. They're open an hour extra on Friday and Saturday until 10. And drop in and see us. Give a shout out to somebody you know on a Thursday night. They have a special offer right now, Chuck. I'm probably going to stop there on the way home.
Large one topping, $10.
Can't beat
Can't
that.
beat it.
Can't beat that. And Melvin Liquid Fertilizer, 6704 East US 22, Wilmington, Ohio, or Melvin.
Right in the heart of Melvin, Ohio.
Right in the heart of Melvin, Ohio. And then if you would like to find out more about Melvin, you can call Paul Harris at 937-584-2451 for your agricultural crop needs. They have seed sales there, crop planting, soil sampling, custom agricultural chemical application, custom agricultural application for liquid and dry fertilizers, and hopefully this snow will be gone pretty soon so that we can start doing that. And I'm going to turn this over to Rick a little bit and let Rick talk about the efforts here at GTVR.
Well, thank you, Bill. We are looking forward to our future broadcasts to begin with, and obviously this coming Wednesday we've got senior night at East Clinton High School. Chillicothe's coming in for a makeup game.
Yep.
All this bad weather, I think hopefully going to get it in because we're starting to get towards the 40s at least. I think this coming week, right? But they're in for a game. Our airtime will start at 7 o'clock. We also will have tournament action, both girls and guys, and keep an eye on our website so that you can get the actual times and the days that we will have that. I think that actually on Wednesday we will be doing a tournament, I think a girls tournament game, so we'll probably have two channels operating simultaneously on that evening. You can pick or go back and forth.
GTVR, we're moving forward with our coverage. And
expanding,
and as they used to say on Wide World of Sports, spanning the globe.
Exactly.
To bring you a wide variety of sport. Rick, you had alluded to a little while ago about track and baseball possibilities at East Clinton. You want to speak to that a little bit?
Well, what we're hoping for is that we've got possibly a sponsor that will help out with adding Wi-Fi to the press box at East Clinton. And what that'll do is enable us to be able to broadcast audio and video for baseball games, for track and field, for tennis, and those sports. Obviously, we could even do tape delays next football for the football season. So it expands our capabilities at East Clinton, and hopefully we'll get that accomplished so that we can have the bandwidth that we need to do those broadcasts.
Very good. Well, we're looking forward to it. It's been a great partnership, and we are getting ready to resume wrestling action here. This is the consolation round where for some of our kids, this will determine if they win, they are going to districts next week, and if they lose, they will come back and wrestle for 5th and 6th, which holds some significance where they become an alternate if they get 5th place. So these are very important matches in this round, and as Coach Stalen alluded to, maybe the best wrestling happens right here because these kids know their season ends if they don't win.
Right, it's make it or break it time.
Make it or break it time.
That's right.
And I'm going to turn this back over to my partner, Chuck Hale. And Chuck?
All right, so Bill, we've got Thomas Floria here at 113 pounds, and he is going to be wrestling Jesse Potts from Deer Park. Potts is the number 4 seed coming into the tournament. He was 3rd here last year at 106 pounds. He is a sophomore, and he has a 26-10 record. So again, like we talked about, Thomas, had a late start to the season, but he was able to come in and did place at the SCOL tournament at 120 pounds. And again, was able to move down to 113 because unfortunately Anderson Van de Winsey had a season-ending injury earlier in the week, and that opened up a spot for Thomas to drop down. So again, Thomas wrestling at a more natural weight for him, I would say, and again taking on Potts here, who is the 4th seed. So we're ready to go here. There's the start, and we have a simple collar tie here at the start. Both wrestlers on the head, ear to ear. Now Potts snaps it into a front headlock, circling. Now reaches inside for the knee, can't quite get there. Both wrestlers now on the mat. Thomas circling, trying to keep Potts from scoring, but Potts is able to do it. He turns it into 2. So 2-0 Potts here, early lead.
That's where you got to keep on moving on that there, Chuck, as far as not let him get around on you. And
that's exactly right. When he's out in front, you've got to be moving just as fast as he is in the same direction, or in the opposite direction, I should say, or he is going to get the takedown, and that's exactly what happened. So Potts now working the half hard here, and he's right on the edge, but Thomas his turn, but again, he's right on the edge, and I'm not sure he can be pinned there. Looks like his
I do not believe
shoulders out of bounds, but he already had the back points previous to that. So again, short 1-minute period here for the consolation, and we are going to have 3 back points. So 5-0 here Potts to start the second period.
Thomas is going to have to put something together here now to cut into that lead, to put him in a position where he can potentially take the lead and win this match, or pin him, of course.
That's right. Thomas's choice, he chooses down. Potts mounts, there's the whistle.
He's got to get to a stand-up position.
And Potts chops the near arm, takes him flat. Thomas gets up, and then Potts brings him right back flat. Thomas back into a base now.
He's struggling to get to, there it is. He almost stepped up to it, and
Thomas is pressuring back, trying to hit a stand-up here. He's on his knees. Now Potts brings him back down flat.
If he could capture some wrist control on that stand-up, it would aid him, but he's just got turned by Potts.
That's right. Potts turned him with the half now, and again, like we mentioned earlier, Thomas has a good bridge, but Potts has that in deep.
And all Thomas can do now is dig those elbows in, and he's got 45 seconds, so I don't know if it's going to be a tough.
I think he's got more than that. That's not our
tough task.
Yep. Yeah, and again, like we said, Thomas bridging hard, but again, Potts is in deep. He's got good chest pressure. He just broke Thomas down again.
Yeah, and all Thomas can do is.
Thomas, to his credit, he's trying to keep one shoulder up, and he does.
And he rolls through.
Nice job by Flory. Again, not quitting there, but boy, Potts pulls him right back to his back, and a quick pin call. So Potts gets the win and advances. Thomas will drop down.
I think Thomas was relieved that he got off his back, and Potts made him pay, took advantage of that little rest that you take when you take a deep breath and think, man, I'm not going to get pinned.
Yeah, that's right. And
Potts
took advantage
right
of it. So that'll do it for Thomas Floria for third and fourth. But again, he will come back and wrestle for fifth and sixth and a chance to be an alternate to go to district. So again, season not over, but it didn't end quite the way he wanted it so far. So
no, but both of our Thomases who came out late showed a lot of promise in the later part of the season here for us, and both of them are coming back next year, so that's a great thing, and
that's right.
Gives Coach Stalin something to work with.
That's exactly right. And while we're waiting, we don't have a match till 1:45. We do have updated team scores here. I'll run through those quickly. In first place, we have Blanchester with 192 team points. Second, Reading with 170 and a half. Then a pretty big gap down to Bethel Tate at third with 91 points. North College Hill with fourth. Deer Park fifth with 78. C&E sixth with 74 and a half. Williamsburg seventh with 63. Marymount 46 in eighth place. Cincinnati Hills Christian Academy follows them in ninth with 42 points. Then your Astros are in 10th place with 39 team points. They're followed by Purcell Marion with 29 points. Roger Bacon in 12th with 24. Summit Country Day with 23 in 13th place. Madeira 14th place with 21 points. Hillcrest Academy trails them by 1 for 15th place. Cincinnati Country Day has 18 and a half for 16th. And Laughlin is currently in 17th place. They only have 2 team points so far. So
what a strong effort here in this round, Chuck. We could possibly see ourselves getting up to that 8th position. It's going to be a little bit of a stretch for us to be able to get higher than that, but you never know.
Yeah, that's right. And I would say, right now it's going to come down between Blanchester and Reading for the overall champion. But again, yeah, East Clinton is definitely within reach of gaining 1, if not 2 places.
And given the history of the program, as it's been in its infancy here for 5 years, that'd be a great accomplishment to be able to keep on moving up that ladder. Not where we're necessarily contending for the team championship, but getting to that point where we're in the conversation.
Right, exactly. So again, we're waiting for 145 pounds, and that'll be Cameron Block. And again, Block came into the tournament with an even 19-19 record. He's now 20-20 on the year. And he's wrestling Damon Bridges from North College Hill, who's a senior, comes in with an 18-13 record. And like we mentioned earlier, these two teams see each other quite a bit, and these two are 1-1 on the season. So this will be the rubber match between those two, and we'll see who wins the season victory for those two young men.
Yeah, the second time that they met, what happened there is Cameron was behind early in that and came back and pinned him. And I believe that that's got to give Cameron a degree of confidence coming back into the rematch. I always feel the guy that won the last one has the momentum going into the third one.
I don't disagree with that. That was at the East Clinton Duels, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it was. And Bridges, he's a strong kid. He's a good wrestler.
Yes, he is.
And Cameron, as we said, ended up pinning him in that match. So we're looking forward to that matchup and developing rivalry. As I don't have it right here, Bridges is a 12th grader, so this will be the last year he sees him. But nice little rivalry this year between those two.
That's right.
In the hole, that number 2, 152 pounds, Bill Trigger, Eastern, Robert Houston.
And we're rolling through these consolations pretty quick. There'll be 2 matches per weight class in this round of the consolations, which is the, semifinals
correct,
of the consolation bracket. And again, an important round because if you lose, you go home, and chances are you're not going to be wrestling next week. I mean, you win the 5th and 6th place match, there's a possibility, but better to take control of it by yourself and win than to depend on somebody else getting hurt or
That's
getting
exactly
sick.
right. That's exactly right. You want to control your own destiny.
And looking through the pairings here for tonight, we've got in 106, we've got Seth Chambers from CNE will be squaring off with Kyle Dernier from Blanchester. They'll be meeting for the championship at 106. And then at 113, we've got Drew Fiorenzo from Marymount. He will square off against Charles Johnson of Williamsburg.
And just side note here, Coach, Floria wrestled both of those wrestlers, so looks right now like
He had a tough way to go there.
his two losses were to, or no, I take that back. He could have only wrestled, he wrestled Johnson.
Yeah, he had a quality opponents all the way through the tournament.
Yes,
So
he certainly has.
our hats off to Thomas. He had a tough way to go there. At 120, we have Eric Peters of
Bethel Tate.
Bethel Tate. Okay, not quite sure with the abbreviations here yet. And then Timmy McIntyre, Blanchester, square off at 120 for the championship.
Timmy's a tough young wrestler. That should be a good match.
At 126, we have Zach Alvarado of Cincinnati Hills Christian, and he will wrestle Mackay Jones of North College,
Right, North College Hill, yep.
and they will square off for the 126-pound championship.
I guarantee you those are two young men that have seen each other quite a bit.
Yeah, and that's the thing. A lot of these guys will see each other 3 or 4 times. We've got
Okay,
Cameron
so
Block
here's
up.
and Bridges. Just underway here. Bridges with a quick takedown. Block stands up, tries to reverse it. Block, a lot of motion on the bottom, trying to get an escape here. Bridges grabs the outside ankle. Block
Got Cameron on
yeah,
his back.
turned into his back right away. Cameron trying to squirm out of that, fight his arm through, get back to his belly, and he does.
He does. A very similar start to what we saw in that second match between these two, as Bridges came out like a ball of fire and kind of faded as the match went on, and Cameron took advantage of that.
Well, we mentioned that in Cameron's previous match today too, that he doesn't always start real quick. He's kind of I guess a diesel engine in that way that once you get him going, he goes. But
got to get the fuel ignited before.
You got to get it going. That's right. So they restart in the middle. Bridges breaks him down. He's flat now. Block builds back up. His hips are up. Head's on the mat. Bridges off to his right side, under both arms.
Bridges kind of high in the front there on this.
Yeah, he is. I think if Cameron gets the feel of where his pressure is, he can slide out.
Sure can. An opportunity in that situation for the wrestler to stand up, and 1 minute first period has just concluded.
Right. So, Coach, I'm going to venture to say we're 2-0.
I think so.
Okay.
I
think we're 0 for 2 so far this morning, I think, but we're going to go with 2-0. So Block's going to start the second period down. He's set. Bridges mounts. There's the whistle. Block, quick stand up. Back down to the mat.
Bridges grabbed the elbow, and now he's underneath
Bridges,
both shoulders with.
Looking for wrist control.
Yep.
Block slides out. Block looking for a Peterson. Can't quite get there.
That's kind of been his signature move
Yes,
this
it really
year.
has.
And he's
that
stepped
just
over
goes
the ankle.
into-
He
yep.
has an opportunity here. If
If he can pop that head out, he'll
Yep.
get an escape here or reversal. even.
Bridges gets too loose on the arms, it's going to be an opportunity for Cameron to score.
And one thing about Cameron too, we've talked about his more quote unquote funk style, but again, that's because he I think has really good body awareness and he understands leverage and where his hips need to be in relation to his opponent.
I agree. And of course, he does like to roll around. Any kids that like to roll around present a danger to themselves and the other wrestlers.
Exactly.
So that's something Bridges has to do. Now you can already tell Bridges is kind of sauntering back.
Block ran back to the middle. Bridges very slow to get up, very slow to walk back to the middle. Block right on the whistle, explodes back up. Bridges pulls him back to the mat.
And Cameron really needs to score this period. You can't allow him to get points.
Especially
or to
doesn't
ride
want
him
to give
out.
up back points here.
He's got that arm bar, but it's loose. He could slip that, but now there's back points.
Cameron can hip over into him. He'll be all right. But again, Bridges right now has him in near fall criteria.
He's got him pretty tight.
So we're going to have 3 back points here at least, and there's a fall. Block gets pinned. So Bridges is going to advance to 3rd and 4th. Block is going to drop down into 5th and 6th, but again, still a chance to make it out as an alternate.
Well, Cameron had a great year. Came into this 19-19 and gained some valuable experience for next year. Hopefully he'll get that 5th spot, and you never know what's going to happen. Chuck, I'm going to drop down there. Zach's coming up, so I will be back in a few minutes.
All righty. So again, our co-host Bill Hrabak, obviously, like we mentioned, going to get a match side perspective of his son wrestle. We can certainly appreciate that. And again, that's just a few matches away here, as that was 145 pounds, and Zach Hrabak will be coming up at 160. So in the meantime, we'll just take a quick look around, and we've got Williamsburg and Deer Park wrestling on mat number 3. Number 2 in the middle, we've got Reading wrestling a Blanchester wrestler. I'm sorry, we don't know what the match is. Then on the far mat and the consolation, again, we've got another Reading wrestler wrestling a Bethel Tate wrestler. So
number 1, 145 pounds, Dana Bridges of North Carolina, winner over Cameron Block of East Clinton. On 10 ball time, 2 minutes 26 seconds.
And again, quick recap, we have Zach Hrabak coming up next. And let's take a look at Zach's opponent. Zach is going to be wrestling Tristan Lilich from Blanchester. Lilich is a junior, and he is 23 and 12 on the year. So Lilich, again, having a fine season. And as we mentioned, this point in the tournament, you're probably only going to have wrestlers that are going to have winning records in most weight classes. But again, Tristan Lilich will be the opponent in 160. Following that, we'll have Cameron Klein, and he's going to wrestle Jonathan McCoy. And McCoy, a freshman from Hillcrest Academy, has a 9-5 record on the year. So, again, a freshman with a winning record in a higher weight class coming up for Klein in his next match. So again, all wrestlers still alive. Loss in this round means that you do drop down for 5th and 6th place. So that is not a guaranteed route to the districts. Top 4 wrestlers move on. 5th wrestler is named the alternate in case of an injury or other situation where the other wrestler could not continue. So again, 5th and 6th place is still an important match because you do want that opportunity to maybe have your season get extended. But again, waiting for Zach Hrabak at 160 and Tristan Lilich of Blanchester. Again, Lilich, a junior with a 23 and 12 record coming into the tournament. Of course, Hrabak came in with an 18 and 2 record. So, 2 wrestlers with good records getting ready to square off. I want to remind our listeners, too, at the conclusion of this round, there will be a break until the finals, which are scheduled to begin at 5 o'clock. So, we will be off the air for some of that break time, but again, we encourage you and we ask you to please tune back in for our finals at 5 o'clock. We do, again, every East Clinton wrestler still alive will be wrestling in the finals. It's just a matter now of what place they will be wrestling for. We already know that Josh Jones at 106 pounds will be wrestling for 3rd and 4th. He'll be wrestling Alec Wentz of Reading. And Wentz is a freshman with an 18 and 12 record. Thomas Florio, we're not sure who he's going to wrestle. I can give you a couple possibilities for that one. As I flip to that bracket, it's either going to be Kyle McCarthy of Purcell Marion or Zach Latire of Reading. Again, I don't have the results of that match. Unfortunately, I can't tell you who Thomas will wrestle, but he will be wrestling for 5th and 6th. And again, Cameron Block also will be wrestling for 5th and 6th at 145 pounds. So just waiting for Hrabak to be up. Again, the action will move quick this round because got 2 matches in each weight class, and there are 3 mats, so again, we'll be moving right along. And again, just a reminder of the team battle shaping up. Blanchester and Reading are going head-to-head. Really the only 2 teams with a chance to come away with a victory at this point, and when you hear a roar from the crowd, chances are it's a win for one of those 2 teams. Both teams well represented here today. Obviously, Blanchester, the home team, so quick, short trip for a lot of those people. And Reading, again, like we mentioned last night, I believe the only team here with a full lineup, so they have a strong program and a good contingent of fans. And again, those 2 teams are going to battle it out for the sectional championship.
Do we know who the defending sectional champion is?
I want to say that's a good question, Rick, and it's one of those 2 teams. I'm almost positive, but I don't know which one of the 2. No. I want to say Bland, but I wouldn't swear to it. So,
well, we know Bland has a very strong program they've had for years. So
yes, they certainly have, and of course, this is the first year in several years that Bland hasn't been led by Brian Penix. Coach Penix led this program to a lot of success over the years, multiple state championships with Jake Howe, and has now moved on. He is the athletic director here at Blanchester High School. So congratulations to him in his new position. And I'm sure the wrestling team misses him, but they are doing quite well moving on with his successor. So again, takes a lot of work on the part of the AD to host this tournament, and I know Coach Penix has put a lot of work in. And of course, he replaces the previous AD, and I'm drawing a blank now as to his name, but held this position. He was at Blanchester for, I want to say, over 40 years. Not all that time as an AD, but Ron Duncan. Ron Duncan was his name, and you have to respect Ron for the time he put in and the work I know he put in running this tournament for several years before he finally retired.
Looks like we're getting ready for the match. This would be Hrabak.
Yep, and here we go. Hrabak coming up right now. And again, Zach wrestling. Another Blanchester wrestler like we talked about, Tristan Lilich. Well, again, both wrestlers have good records coming in. And both looking to advance on to the 3rd and 4th place finals here. Blanchester now has switched to all black singlets for the later rounds of the tournament. Again, Hrabak still wearing the scarlet singlet trimmed on with white and silver on the sides.
So now what would be the advantage of changing your color? Good luck.
Well, I would say as far as advantage, it's 100% mental. But
nobody will recognize you?
I don't think you can count on that, but I guarantee you East Clinton will have on their different singlets the next round.
Oh, okay.
All right, so we're underway here. Both wrestlers filling each other out. Hrabak with a shot and a reshot. Finishes, and there's a takedown. So Hrabak off to a quick 2-0 lead here.
Looks like he's trying to be very aggressive right from the get-go.
Yes, he is, and he's had his most success here when he's come out aggressive. In his last match against Ray Day, he was a little more passive and ended up getting beat at the end. So.
Right, and by a very slim margin, but it was probably that fact that has got him coming out here being very aggressive to begin with.
I'm sure you're right. So again, Hrabak in control here, 2-0 here to start. Again, it'll be a shortened first period, a 1-minute consolation period. Unfortunately, with our angle, we can't see the scoreboard or the clock, but we'll try to keep you as up to date as we can. Again, 2-0 Hrabak right now. Very short time left in the first period. And that's going to do it. So 2-0 Hrabak to end the first period. And there's the toss of the disc. It's going to be Blanchester's choice. He defers. Hrabak chooses down. So Hrabak will start the second period down. Blanchester will have choice in the third. Zach down. He's set. Referee instructs Blanchester to mount. There's the whistle. Hrabak quick stand up. And they try the trip. Can't work there. So Hrabak haven't seen an escape awarded yet.
No, I haven't seen it either.
Again, should be forthcoming here. Hrabak is in front and facing, and there it is. So 3-0 now Hrabak. And snap down there. Front headlock by Hrabak. Hrabak trying to turn the corner here. He's got his head low, spins around. So it's now 5-0 Hrabak. We're closing in on halfway the second period here. Lilich sits out. Can't go anywhere. Hrabak chases him back. So now back on a base. Lilich now up on all four. Now back to the mat on his hip. Hrabak continues to ride, looking for an advantage. Lilich up on 1 foot. Now back to both knees. Lilich sits out again. Hrabak tries to suck him back with his chin and his shoulder. Lilich on his hip. Hrabak now has him in near fall criteria. And this may be a fall here. Let's see if Zach can put the pressure on. And okay, Lilich is able to roll it back through. Hrabak circles back around, gets back behind. So 3 near fall awarded. And I want to say that's going to make us 8-0.
8-0, right.
8-0 right now. Again, Hrabak now behind Lilich, who's up to his hip. Now back to a base. And Zach riding on his knee right now, half at the left. Lilich sits back. Now back to his knees. Short time here, so it looks like Hrabak will ride out the remainder of this period. And go into the third. Up just at the end of the period, we have a stalling call here from Hrabak. Referee wants him to get off of the hip and come out and try to pin Lilich, apparently. And again, we've mentioned before, in Ohio wrestling, there is a big emphasis on not riding. You don't want to just sit back there. They want you to try to dictate action. And so there's the end of the period. So 7-0 here. Lilich is going to choose down.
Is it 7-0 or 8-0?
8-0, excuse me.
Yeah.
Okay, so Hrabak is going to go, he's going to decide to go neutral here. So gives Lilich the escape. We're going to start on our feet. So here's the beginning. There's the whistle. Hrabak tempted a shot. Lilich does a nice job blocking it off, snatches the headlock. Now Lilich spins around, has his head in the hole. Hrabak trying to fight it off. No takedown awarded yet. Lilich has to get over. Now Hrabak sits to his hip. Hrabak with a switch. Gets out of it. Now Hrabak steps over.
Now he's got it.
And he turns it into 2. So
right.
Now 10-0. If all our numbers are correct here. 10-0 Zach Hrabak, third period. And now Lilich to his feet. So 10-1 with the escape. 10-2, excuse me. Because he already gave Lilich a previous escape. So 10-2. Hrabak now with a front headlock. Lilich reaches over, but Hrabak whizzes hard. And now they both back on their feet and back to the middle. So kind of a reset here. Both wrestlers kind of hanging on, third period. Conditioning obviously a factor now as we enter the last minute of the match. Again, just kind of pushing and pulling at this point. Hrabak pushing, looking for Lilich to pressure back, and Zach takes a shot. Lilich with a nice sprawl and blocks it off. Now both wrestlers back on their feet. And just kind of hanging on, feeling each other out. Now Lilich takes a quick shot at Nothing there. Now Hrabak with a front headlock. Hrabak can turn this into another takedown.
And there he
does.
goes.
All right, so Zach in control here in the third period. Wants to be careful here. Now he comes off to the side. He's already been warned for stalling. Doesn't want to give up the point, but at this point, it's really not going to be a huge loss.
Should be about 12-2, I imagine.
Okay, yeah, I think that's right.
That's
so
it.
That's it. So Zach Hrabak will continue. He'll wrestle for third and fourth. And he is going to wrestle the winner of B.J. Ratcliffe from Bethel Tate and Jesse Campbell from Summit Country Day. It looks like we have that match going on right in front of us. And that match is tied up 2-2 in the second period. So we'll bring you as much of that match as we can so we can get a look at Hrabak's opponent. So they're starting back in the middle here. Again, 1 minute to go in the third period. Match is tied up. And not a lot of action right now. Now Ratcliffe with the overhook.
170 pounds, Jeremy Hedlund of Deer Park, Connor Wilson of North College Hill, number 2. On deck, number 2, 195 pounds, Brandon Stahl of Carmel Eastern. Kermit Beckwood of Bethel Tate.
Okay, again, now Ratcliffe with a Russian tie drags him, or pushes him out of bounds, I should say, rather. So we're going to get another restart. 35 seconds to go in the second period. 2-2 here. Again, match between B.J. Ratcliffe of Bethel Tate, and Jesse Campbell of Summit Country Day. And again, winner of this match will face Zach Hrabak for third place in the finals.
To go for number 1, 160 pounds, Zach Hrabak of East Portland is your winner. And the first one is Blanchester.
Ratcliffe with a front headlock here.
By major decision, the score 12-2.
And drives him out of bounds. So with 7/10 of 1 second left in the second period, it's 2-0, and it's going to end that way. That's the period. So again, trying to determine who Hrabak will face in the finals. After a very impressive semifinal performance over Tristan Lilich of Blanchester. All right, so Campbell gets an escape here. He's now up. Well, and I didn't see all the scoring, but it's now 4-2. 4-2 Ratcliffe, excuse me. So right now Bethel Tate in control. 5-2 now the score. And that's it. So looks like Zach is going to be facing B.J. Ratcliffe from Bethel Tate, excuse me. All right, so our next East Clinton wrestler will be Cameron Klein at 182 pounds. And Klein, as we mentioned before, is going to be wrestling Jonathan McCoy. And again, McCoy from Hillcrest Academy. McCoy only a freshman, but he does have a winning record of 13-11. Again, that will be the next match for East Clinton. 182 pounds. Cameron Klein and McCoy of Hillcrest Academy. So again, so far, quick recap. At 106 pounds, East Clinton has Josh Jones wrestling for third place. 113, Thomas Floria will be going for fifth place. 145, Cameron Block will be going for fifth place. 160, Zach Hrabak will be wrestling for third and fourth. And of course, Cameron Klein is yet to be determined. And again, also give you a quick update here. Oh, nope, Klein has just started, excuse me. I missed it, bad angle here, my apologies. So, no action here so far. We're about 25 seconds into the match here. Both wrestlers kind of feeling each other out here. Working the head, now collar tie off of that. Circling. Klein half attempted a shot, half speed, really just more of a setup. And now there's an attempt at a throw by McCoy. Not able to score with it. Now Klein, his own throw here. Now Klein, now not able to convert it into 2. And that's the end of the period. So no score. Again, both wrestlers already with a throw, just not able to finish it to a takedown. So we're going to go neutral here. McCoy's choice to start the second period. Yeah, McCoy just a freshman. Klein only a sophomore. And again, ear-to-ear collar tie here. Now Klein posts the elbow, slaps at the knee. Back in the middle now, both wrestlers just circling. Klein again lunges at him, not really a shot attempt, more of a setup. And McCoy continues to hang on the head.
And McCoy doesn't look too interested in tying up with Cameron here.
Yeah, I think you're right, Coach. I don't know if you saw it, we had 2 quick throws in the match, and so both guys have shown they can throw.
And I don't know where, looking at the bracket, I don't know if McCoy got knocked out by, no he didn't.
So now Klein in on a double leg. Can't finish it. McCoy now tries to turn it into a throw, but Klein is able to trip him up, and Klein turns it into a takedown now, and now he's getting back points. Right on the edge, so Klein will have to pull him in if he wants to pin him. McCoy smartly is working out of bounds, and he's able to do it. So it's going to be 5-0 here, Klein, with 41 seconds to go here in the period. Again, we'll restart here. McCoy will be down. He's set. Klein giving the command to mount. There's the whistle. Coach, is it just me or is McCoy moving a little bit when he was down there?
Yeah.
Probably should have been a restart.
Yeah.
But not called. So anyway, we're still at 5-0 here.
They're letting them wrestle, Coach.
They are.
I got a half, and this
Yep,
could be a problem for McCoy.
McCoy already on his hip.
Just keep on walking to the head. Nice block by McCoy.
Yeah,
but
using his leg to not let Cameron walk all the way around. That's a smart move by McCoy. You're right, Coach.
he knew if he went over, it was probably turn out the lights.
Yep. Now McCoy reaches back, tries to grab the leg, and Cameron right on the edge able to just drive him out of bounds. So we're going to get a restart here. McCoy will still be down.
Now what I like with Cameron is he kind of tenderizes him when he takes him to the mat. He does it with emphasis, which takes a little wind out of the lungs when you hit that mat.
Yes, he does. He does take down guys hard. So again, another restart here. McCoy down.
I could tilt him.
Good. We're under 10 seconds here. Oh, look, McCoy's back exposed.
We should be getting some points.
And we're out of time, Coach. I think he ran out.
Yeah. It's too bad. That would have been a nice position.
Yeah, he was in position for it. So 5-0. Klein's going to start down to start the third period here. But Klein,
You just have to be smart here, Chuck.
That's right. Klein gets set. McCoy mounts. There's the whistle. Klein quick to a stand-up. Can't quite finish it. McCoy, good job with weight, but McCoy lost.
We're going to get another point for clasping.
That's right.
McCoy.
3 point here for Klein. And there's the stoppage, and it's going to be 6-0 now. 1:50 to go in the period.
And that's where Cameron should have tried something, because we call that a free move.
Right.
Where he might have been able to reverse him or something and pick up 2 more points.
That's right. You had that chance there to try to make something happen. So Klein now down. Down position, I should say, up on the scoreboard.
Yeah, they got him this time, Chuck.
Yeah, they did. So you got McCoy here. There's a caution. Referee, again, making sure he's mounting the right way. Now, a quick stand-up by Cameron. Nice job. Gets to his feet, turns and faces, and now we're 7-0. Nice stand-up and escape there by Cameron Klein.
Now, Cameron doesn't need to be real explosive with anything here with a 7-0 lead.
That's right.
McCoy's going to have to dictate the action, or he's...
Well, we've already seen that McCoy likes to throw, and that's about all he's got left at this point. So
Right, which can be a danger for him if he does it wrong.
That's right.
Now, Cameron gets a nice shot.
And Cameron, to his credit, is doing a nice job keeping the pressure on.
Right. And if you can get that shot about every 20 seconds, you prevent getting called for stalling.
That's right. And like we talked about, stalling is a judgment call, and sometimes it turns into a situational call where you have a wrestler late in a match that's up.
I agree.
Well, the referee is, going to hit him more quickly, I would say, in order to try to dictate a little more action.
Right.
But we haven't had that yet in this match. So Klein just under a minute, 59 and a half seconds to go here.
McCoy's
Klein
done
up 7-0.
Yeah, and McCoy, the thing is, Cameron is kind of coy on this in the sense that McCoy keeps on backing him up, and it doesn't look like anything. Oh, he tried to trip, and
Yeah, he did, and Cameron
went
turned it into
badly.
his own takedown.
And this is a 5-point move for Cameron.
Yep. McCoy taking down right to his back. And we're either going to have a
approaching-
5-point win or a 5-point play or a pin here. But
Now, if he
McCoy
keeps
does a
this-
nice job there crowding his hips.
He walks to the head, and he's screwing him in the mat, and
McCoy, nice job rolling all the way through, but
that should
again,
be
it's
another.
going to be 12-0 here with under 20 seconds to go in the match.
And at this point, Cameron's got this one in the bag here, Chuck, providing we don't have a.
Yep, and Cameron knows that he's just going to ride him out here.
Well,
Turns into his back.
oh, and that's going to give us a 15-point decision.
Is that 3? I'm not sure, Coach, if he gave him 2 or 3 there.
I thought he gave him 3.
Did he?
I thought he won.
Well, either way, it's either 14 or 15-0. Not going to get much more dominant than that.
Yeah. And, the only
So-
significance there is in the team scoring. That gives us an extra half a point.
That's
And,
right. That's right. So Cameron Klein advances into the 3rd and 4th place match. So both he and Hrabak continue, and he's going to face the winner of Anthony Curry from North College Hill and Josh Faulkner of C&E. So see if we can. Oh, that match is going on right now on mat 1. So we'll try to cover that match as much as we can. And unfortunately for our listeners, mat 1 is the mat where we cannot see the scoreboard or the clock, so we can only go by what we see. And we already missed a lot of this match, Coach.
Yeah.
But
Curry was, he's an 11th grader who's 16 and 14 on the season.
okay.
And then Faulkner, and he was unseeded. Faulkner's the 3rd seed from Claremont, and he is 20 and 9 on the season.
Okay.
And it looks like Faulkner, well, not knowing the score, I'm not going to say anything here, Chuck. 14-0. So it looks like at this point, Faulkner's got things well in hand.
Yeah, it looks like he's in control.
And he was, not only was he the 3rd seed, he was 4th at 182 last year in the sectional.
Disqualifier out of this sectional, so, and at this weight class. So
And Doug Stalin alluded to the experience of being there before has a huge effect in these kind of matches.
it sure does.
And then, so we're pretty much finished for this round as far as the Astros. And we'll be coming back later for the championship round.
That's right.
And we will have Josh Jones going at 106, Zach Hrabak going at 160, and Cameron Klein going at 182.
Thomas Flory at 113.
Thomas Fleury at 113 going for 5th and 6th, and Cameron Block going
Cameron
for
Block 5th and 6th as well, right. So
And they're hoping for a little bit of a miracle there, that something happens and maybe one of them slides into the districts.
that's right. So a lot of Astros still alive here. Make sure you join us for the finals tonight. Again, that's going to start at 5 o'clock.
So we are looking at we are looking at a little bit of a delay here. I'm going to talk to Rick about this. Rick, they'll be coming back at 5 o'clock for the finals, and where are we going to go with this here for the next few hours, I guess, is the question for our fans, so they know. Will we
We'll be off the air with nothing else to follow.
Right,
And then
right.
we'll come back at 5 o'clock back on the air.
Okay.
And, so we just encourage everybody to
Tune back in.
tune back in at 5 o'clock.
Okay, good. That's what we needed to know. So if you're watching, you want to go take that dinner break, now would be a great time to do it. So you get back at 5 o'clock and listen to the finals here, and see what happens here to the Astros that have advanced to the final round. And so with that, for my partner Chuck Hale, Chuck, any closing thoughts before the finals?
Well, again, like we said, a lot of Astros still alive. Pretty exciting for the program, so come back and join us.
And of course, our program's brought to you by MC Auto, 11 East Washington Street, Sabine, Ohio. Stop by, got some beautiful vehicles there, guaranteed financing. They're open 9 to 6 Monday through Saturday, so they're all day. They're kind of like Denny's, except for Sunday. They're almost always open, Chuck. And then Charlie's Place, home of the East Clinton sports program on Thursday nights at 7. Their special offer this week, 1 topping large pizza, $10. Charlie's Place is located at 416 East Washington Street. Their hours during the week, Monday through Thursday, 10 to 9, Friday and Saturday, 10 to 10. Drop in, say hello to us, get on the air. We're always looking for people to come out and get themselves on the broadcast. And then we have Melvin Liquid Fertilizer, 6704 East US 22, Wilmington, Ohio, in the little village of Melvin. Phone number 937-584-2451. Call Paul Harris for your agricultural crop needs. And just to finish up here, we've got Jim Vest, the biddy coach for the Astros, and I'm going to get Jim in here to finish up before the finals. Jim, I know you got a big weekend coming up here with the young kids. You want to talk a little bit about some of your outstanding performances?
Yeah, a little bit. Last week went to OSC and took 8 kids and qualified 5 for the state. 2 weeks on March 2nd, we are going to go to the Ohio Way districts at Stebbins High School. We're taking about 20 kids over there, and hopefully we take qualifiers out of that too.
Very good, very good. For our fans that don't know, the OAC is the Ohio Athletic is a committee.
Yes.
They've have sponsored for many years now a elementary school and a junior high state championship.
Yes.
And then we have the R Way, which is kind of a rival division.
It's kind of a rival state, yes.
Yeah, and so technically you could have a kid that could win 2 state championships in a year.
And the R Way now, this new way, they also on Sunday they have an all-girls state tournament.
Yeah, and that's something we've seen progressing into the sport more and more over the years, is some young ladies taking the mats. And
yes.
I think a lot of times they're the little girls whose dads are wrestling coaches, and they've been kind of drilled into their head that wrestling is what they want to do. So it's kind of neat to see the girls there. Now, what do you think? You think that we're going to see a girls division at some point?
I think at one point you're going to see girls teams, just like you have boys and girls basketball teams, you're going to see girls and boys wrestling.
Yeah.
I think it's going to get that popular.
Yeah. I think so too. We've seen some pretty good girls through the last few years.
Oh yes. Well, at our SCL tournament, it was exceptionally good. 106 from Greenfield McLean. She wrestled pretty good.
Right. So we're seeing that. I know that there's a couple teams we've saw in some of the tournaments would have a girl here and there.
Yes.
But still difficult for the girls to compete at all the weight classes, especially with the heavier ones with the boys.
Now, we have a girl, she weighs about 140 pounds, first year, 5th grader. She's doing really well this year for us.
I know you mentioned that the other day, and she's interested in playing football, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. That's pretty neat in itself.
We'd like to get her to play DN for us, but we'll see what Mom says.
Yeah, sometimes moms and dads have to make that determination for them, and sometimes it does end their wrestling careers.
Yes.
Or football careers. But the great thing would be is if we do get that division for the girls, that would be an opportunity for them to continue on with their wrestling.
Oh, of course, yes.
Yeah. And, of course, there's always those objectionable situations when you get to teenage girls wrestling teenage boys, some of the problems that could arise from that.
Yeah, and it's caused problems, but, you've heard about the problems they have in it, but, the girls wrestling is going to get really popular here soon. I say within the next 10 years.
Well, very good. Well, Jim, I appreciate it. Any other upcoming events? Do you do anything during the summer with the wrestling, or do you pretty much shift gears to football at that point?
I usually shift gears to football, but I encourage kids to go to camps. Always talk to them about getting extra wrestling. Coach Stalin, he opens up the mats in the spring and the summer, and I encourage kids to go in there, go to the open mats. And Coach Stalin, he welcomes them all. And there's other schools like Washington Courthouse has open mats during the week, and I encourage them kids to go that way too.
Excellent. Well, it's Jim Vest, the head of the Biddy program here at East Clinton, doing a fantastic job.
Thank you very much.
And good luck down at the OACs and hopefully the RWAs too.
I want to congratulate Zach Hrabak and Cameron Klein just for qualifying for the districts.
Well, the boys look good, and hopefully we'll get a few more down there and show that the Astro Wrestling program's alive and well.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thanks,
Bill.
Jim. I'll turn it over to Rick, and we'll be taking a short break and return at 5 o'clock. And here's my partner, Rick. As always, Astros keep on reaching for the stars. So long, everybody.
And as we said, we'll be back on at 5 o'clock, so tune back in, and we'll pick up the championship finals. And this is Rick Phillips for GTVR.net.